From the pristine campus of the California Lutheran University baseball field, it's Oaks baseball duking it out on the Foresters, or against the Foresters right here on George Sparky Anderson Field. The second bout between these two teams begins here in about 5 minutes. We apologize for the late start. We had some technical difficulties, but we are more than delighted to be along for the ride with you. His name is Jordan Brenner. My name is Jonathan Rifkind, and this is Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. These two teams, perhaps the hottest in the CCL, perhaps even in the country. The Conejo Oaks coming into today on a 10-game winning streak and 9 games in the CCL. The Santa Barbara Foresters lead the league at 26-3, 19-3 in the league, and they've won 10 of their last 12 CCL games. Jordan Brennan, as we bring you in here, the Conejo Oaks offense has been hot, but the Santa Barbara Foresters pitching has been hot. They're collectively pitching 1.77 as a team. For the Foresters, how do they stifle this Oaks offense? And for the Oaks, how do they get right at this Forester pitching?
Well, the Foresters have to remember that they're the Foresters. It doesn't matter who they're facing because they think of themselves as the best team in the entire country. On the Oaks side, you can't get overconfident. Sure, you've won 10 games in a row. You're playing your best baseball of the season, but that can't stop you from giving all that you have. Either way, this is a clash of the Titans today, Jonathan, and perhaps the most excited I've been for a baseball game my whole life.
This is going to be quite a baseball game. I'm going to give you the Foresters lineup here as Logan Allen steps in from Arkansas Fort Smith. Behind him, Hank LaForte from Cal State Fullerton, Luke Ritter and Chase Illig, the next two up. On the mound for the Oaks, by the way, is Jonathan Lavallee from Pierce Junior College. This is his third start, 1.72 ERA. First pitch, slapped up the middle, off the glove of Tanner Wright at second and into right field. And Logan Allen doing what he does best, getting on base early. One pitch, one hit, first pitch time here at Sparky Anderson Field, 5:06. With a beautiful temperature of 78 degrees, partly cloudy, and the wind blowing out to right field as usual. The bottom four of the order: Connor Davis, playing left field from Auburn's in the 5th spot. Cam Warren from Texas Tech in the 6th spot. Utah Jones playing third base in the 7th spot. Brandon Zarazoga in the 8th spot as Lavallee deals the first pitch. Outside, ball one to Hank LaForte, the returner now in his 3rd season with the team, coming off a phenomenal season with Cal State Fullerton. The last batter for the Foresters will be the big Oklahoma State Cowboy, Ryan Cash. Give you the Oaks field here in just a moment. Runner on first already, and no outs. The 1-0 offering from Jonathan Lavallee. Swung on and missed, an 83-mile-an-hour strike. Evens the count. The Oaks field looks as follows. In right field is Tyler Ryan out of the University of Pacific. Center field, Elijah Alexander from the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. And Chase Cockrell, the Ole Miss superstar, occupying that left part of the field. I'll give you the infield here in just a moment. 1-1 offering. Outside, ball 2. Jordan McFarland from Arkansas is at first. Tanner Wright from Cal Lutheran's at second. Sam Shaken, the Valparaiso Crusader, occupies short. Brandon Lewis headed to UC Irvine in the fall at third. And catcher extraordinaire from Utah Valley University, Drew Sims, is behind the dish in today's game. 2-1 pitch, cracked into right field, and that drops for a single. Hank LaForte doing what he has done for the past 2 seasons with this team, finding holes in the field. And just like that, 4 pitches in, 2 runners on, and no outs for the Foresters.
You got to be very, very careful if you're Lavallee right here. You cannot let this offense start off the game with a big lead because we know how good their rotation is. They are not going to give up 5 or 6 runs to let you back into this game.
That brings up Luke Ritter. Had a home run the last time these two teams played, back on June 19th. Foresters won 6-5. First pitch, a strike at the knees, 74-mile-an-hour changeup, and that's a good way you start off these Forester batters. They're very good at hitting fast pitches. You can learn the changeup speed to find a way to keep these terrific batters off balance. That may be the key here for Lavallee. Toes the rubber and offers. 0-1. Upstairs, evens the count. Conejo Oaks are in their navy blues today. White letters on the front outlined by navy blue and white numbers on the back with white pants. Foresters with gray pants are wearing the maroon red with with blue numbers on the front and blue letters outlined by white and blue numbers on the back. 1-1, skied high and deep to right field, giving chases Ryan, but it is over the wall. For the second time in 2 games against this team, Luke Ritter hits a bomb out to right field. 3 runs come in, And 7 pitches into this game, the Foresters take a 3-0 lead.
Not your ideal start if you're Lavallee. The stuff has just not been crisp enough today. And when you're facing a lineup like the Foresters, they're going to make you pay, simply put. From this point on, Lavallee has to settle down, get through this inning, because this Oaks offense definitely has the firepower to get back into this one.
Yeah, expect a highly offensive game with a lot of intensity as the dangerous Chase Illig out of West Virginia steps in, leading the league in batting average. First pitch is low and away for ball 1. But you look at this Forester roster, as I mentioned, Illig batting .402 in 118 plate appearances. He's just been spectacular in the cleanoff spot. 1-0 pitch is a strike on the outside corner to even the count. Along with that .402 batting average, he leads the team with 24 RBIs, 7 home runs, which leads the league. Brandon Lewis for the Oaks has 5, which is second in the CCL. Those was 2 triples and 5 doubles. This guy hits hard. 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1 the count. I hope everybody's enjoying their Tuesday. The Oaks were off yesterday after having a very successful weekend where they beat the Barons twice on Sunday, the Catch on Saturday, and the Catch once again on Friday. Kick off that 10-game winning streak. 2-1 pitch, skied high into shallow left center field, out of short, shaken, shielding the sun from his face. Moves to his left and makes the catch. Out number 1 is on the board. But it doesn't get any easier as Connor Davis steps in. The Foresters have had a couple of days off. They last played on July 7th against the Academy Barons in a 2-game series. They won both of those. They've won 10 of their last 12 games. Currently sitting comfortably in the top spot in the CCL standings, and they're probably going to stay there. 19-3 the record. The Oaks are a half game back of the second spot. If they win today and the Riptide or the Packers lose, the Oaks will be sitting comfortably in that number 2 spot. The Auburn product, Connor Davis steps in here. First offering. Sliced into left center field. Making a way for it is Alexander, and he makes the catch. I was talking to a scout from Baseball Centers Bureau today before the game, and he told me Elijah Alexander runs the best routes in the CCL. He runs some of the best routes in the college game, and his ability to know where the ball is going to be before it even gets to the outfield is why pitchers are so comfortable with him out there. 2 outs, 3 around, and Cam Warren from Texas Tech digging in. First offering in the dirt, ball 1. Cameron Warren is actually not on the official CCL roster for this team, but he has been cleared to play. We were informed, so in case you were questioning, now you know. 1-0 pitch, 87 miles, upstairs, 2-0 the count. Hope everybody, as I mentioned, is enjoying their Tuesday. No matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making Oaks baseball, or Foresters baseball for that matter, a part of your Tuesday evening plans. 2-0 pitch, a strike at the knees, put a strike up on the board now. Lavallee's last start came last week on an inning against SoCal Catch. 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, 2-1 offering. Cracked foul, back behind the plate, evens the count, and Lavallee, with 2 outs and 3 around in the inning, itching to find a way to retire Warren and end the top of the first. Sporting that Pierce Junior College black and red colored glove, toes the rubber, takes the sign from Sims, rocks and fires the 2-2. Slow pitch, popped back out of play, and 2-2, the count remains.
One thing that I haven't seen from Lavallee today is burying that off-speed pitch. You know, when you can touch 87, that's great. But if you can pair that with nasty off-speed stuff in the dirt, that's what makes it truly effective.
The 2-2 offering from Lavallee, up and in. Tried to go off-speed, but just lost control of that one. Full count now in a spot where he will want to get out of. If the Foresters continue this inning, the momentum that they already have built will further. And for the Oaks, a team that throughout the month of July has been scoring early, but overall the season still has struggled. Coming back is not great. That one a shot down the foul line and goes foul indeed. Out into the desert. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count remains here. These two teams, bitter rivals. I call it the greatest sports rivalry of any rivalry in the country. Always making it close, always having fun here, these two teams. That one popped up to right field. Tyler Ryan under it. And he makes the catch. Out number 3 finally, but not before. 3 runs come around the big home run from Luke Ritter. No errors, nobody left on base. We're through half of the inning. The Oaks half coming up. We'll give you lineups and the field for the Foresters after the break. 3-0 the score at the beginning of the ball game has begun. Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field on a lovely Tuesday evening for some baseball. In the Valley of Thousand Oaks, the Oaks and the Stars duking it out for round 2 of 4 this season. The other 2 will take place next weekend when these 2 teams meet up at Pershing Park in Santa Barbara. But for right now, Foresters lead 3-0 over the Oaks. The Oaks offense has yet to come up, and they look as follows. Michael Spears leads things off, DHing from Ole Miss. Brandon Lewis playing third base is in the 2-hole from Irvine. Jordan McFarland from the University of Arkansas is in the 3 spot playing first base. Cleaning up for the Oaks and playing left field from Ole Miss is Chase Cockrell. Elijah Alexander from the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley bats behind him. He's in center field. Sam Shakin playing short from Valparaiso is batting 6. Tyler Ryan from the University of Pacific is in the 7th spot. Drew Sims behind him from Utah Valley University, and Tanner Wright and Cal Lutheran playing second base rounds out the Oaks order. On the mound here, and the first pitch is a half-hearted swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 1 to Michael Spears. He's actually DHing in today's game for the first time all season, the normal right fielder. 0-1 pitch, misses away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The guy on the mound goes by the name of Tanner Bibby from Cal State Fullerton, a recent addition to this team. Has 9 innings under his belt. 4.0 ERA. That one slaps backhanded by Zarazoga at short. Across his body he throws, but it is not in time. A beautiful play, but Michael Spears showing the wheels. And the Oaks get a leadoff base runner on with an infield single deep to shortstop.
That's the perfect way to start off the bottom half of the inning. The Foresters came out. They came out of the gates. They punched you in the mouth. That doesn't mean the fight is over, though. The Oaks, plenty of time. And Michael Spears hustling out of the box shows that the Oaks are in the correct frame of mind to come back into this ball game.
Foresters headed by scout extraordinaire Bill Pintar, the Yankee scout. Always goes head-to-head with head coach Solis, and it's always a good one. More on the series here in a moment. The first pitch, Brandon Lewis, is a big swing and a miss for strike 1. Brandon Lewis has 3 home runs in the last 4 games. He leads the team with 5, second in the CCL behind Mr. Chase Illig. Heads UC Irvine in the fall. He actually leads the team in almost every statistical category with the exception of the percentages, which Chase Cockrell leads the team, but in fewer at-bats. Bibby toes the rubber and offers the 0-1. That one runs away. Evens the count here to big Brandon Lewis.
Starting pitcher, opening pitcher every night. Brought to you by Restaurant Open. 41.
Lewis batting .355 on the season. 20 RBIs, 5 home runs.
Monday through Friday and on Sundays.
1-1 pitch, a strike on the inside corner. Beautiful placement right there from Bibby. And he's second on the team with the highest ERA at 4. That shows you just how good this team is. If they're second worst, quote-unquote worst. Obviously, he's not a bad pitcher by any means, but on the Forester standards, to have a 4 ERA and be second worst on the team, or have the second highest ERA is pretty insane. That just shows you how deep and talented this Forester roster is. 94-mile-an-hour fastball up and in evens the count, and this is why Bibby is so highly touted. Of course, the Titans held a regional this past season. 17 appearances, 5 starts, 3-5 record, 4.38 ERA for the Titans. Runner on first, and Michael Spears leads the team in stolen bases. We'll see if they send him here with a 2-2 count. He runs. That pitch slapped foul, though. Count remains 2-2 to Brandon Lewis. Feel free to tweet at us at Caneo_Oaks. He's at Jordan Brenner 31. I'm at Johnny Riff. Or chat with us in the YouTube live chat, friend or foe. Whether you're an Oaks fan, a Foresters fan, or just a fan of the game of baseball, we would love to hear from you. Comments, questions, concerns. You have a stat you want us to know. We mispronounce a name, anything. We are more than happy to hear from you. 2-2, Sky down right field, but that one into the parking lot, and another 93-mile-an-hour fastball fought off by Brandon Lewis. This is a battle brewing between Bibby and Lewis.
And I'm excited to see the Oaks play against this level of velocity because we all know the type of power that they can supply against 80-mile-an-hour fastballs. The ball flies even further when you're hitting balls in the mid-90s.
2-2, 1 on. Bibby rocks and fires. Another one. Slapped foul. He took something off. Only 88 on the gun. And when I say only 8, that's from a guy who's throwing in the mid-90s. Perhaps the fastest pitcher we've seen here at Sparky Anderson so far.
Yeah, I don't think I might be wrong, and I might be proved wrong in a second, but I don't think you're going to overpower Brandon Lewis. It's all about finesse and catching corners against such a great hitter.
Yeah, throwing quickly, throwing slowly, not necessarily the answer, but maybe he buries one here. He has a pitch to waste. Offers the 2-2 here. That one slapped down the left field and drops. Brandon Lewis wins the battle with Bibby. Goes 7 pitches on a 2-2 count. He advances Michael Spears to second. And the Oaks have the tying run coming to the plate in the form of Jordan McFarland. And you talk about a guy you want to bat right now, fighting your way back into a game early. Jordan McFarland is your guy.
And how about the Oaks matching the Foresters punch for punch so far? 2 base hits to start off the first inning just like the Foresters did.
Of course, the punch that needs to be matched here now is that home run that Luke Ritter actually had in that 3 spot. Jordan Sorry, go ahead, Jordan. That pitch, though, is fouled back.
I was just going to say it's a good time for McFarland's first on the season.
Jordan McFarland from Arkansas. So far in his second week with the team, though he was with the team last season, he's been absolutely stellar, batting .435, 23 plate appearances, 23 at-bats, 10 hits. 5 strikeouts, no walks so far. Does know how to get the bat on the ball. 0-1 offering. Changeup outside, evens the count. In that 6-5 win between the Oaks and the Foresters, the Oaks were down 6-1 going into the 8th. They mustered up 3 runs in the 8th, and then all of a sudden they exploded for 2 more in the 9th, 3 runs in the 8th and then 2 runs in the 9th. I misspoke as that pitch is swung on a miss, 1-2 the count. But the Oaks had Michael Tillman 90 feet away from scoring when Bart West struck out to end the game. And if they scored Tillman, that game would have been tied. Nobody expected the Oaks in the latter half of that ballgame to even come close to matching the Foresters' intensity, and they did. These two teams always put on quite a show. The Oaks took last year's season series 3-2. Foresters, of course, didn't participate in the playoffs. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, strike 3. McFarland goes down swinging on a nice fastball up and out for a strikeout on the day for Bibby, and out number 1 up on the board now.
And Jonathan, let's go into Bibby a little bit more, because here's a guy, he just played his freshman season at Cal State Fullerton. He already gave his stats, but how about this? He started in his first month a 7.11 ERA. The next month, 4.91. His final 2 months, 1.17 and 3.38 ERAs.
You talk about progression over your freshman season. First pitch, Chase Cockrell misses upstairs. Ball 1. Cockrell leading the team in batting average, 377 mark. The semifinalist for the Golden Spikes Award, awarded to the best player in college baseball. He was on that semifinal list. 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's looking to try to knock a couple around here. Bibby offers the 1-0. That one paints the outside corner. Also a great placement by Chase Illick. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talk about pitching frames. Jordan, this is my 3rd year in the CCL. I have never seen so many successful frames than I have this season. The catching that the league has undertake between every team across the entire CCL spectrum is just a notch above where it's been the last 2 seasons. 1-1 pitch, a cutter, fouled back, 1 ball, 2 strikes, now to Cockrell.
And I just think that's a testament to where the game of baseball is going. You know, people always talk about the flashy defensive plays in center field or up the middle in the infield. But the defensive position or the defensive role that the catcher plays, I would argue, is the most important on the baseball diamond.
Here comes the 1-2 from Bibby. First he checks Spears at second. Spears goes. The pitch is high. The throw is in time. Spears sliding into third. He's out by a mile. A beautiful throw from Illick to Jones retires Spears back to the bench. The count is even 2-2 to Chase Cockrell. Staying put at first base was Brandon Lewis.
I think that might have been a hit and run blown by Cockrell right there. I'm not sure, but just judging based on the jump of Spears.
The only problem is that Brandon Lewis didn't go. So if it was a hit and run, Lewis also would have been off to the races. So maybe it was from second to third, but Lewis didn't. 2-2 pitch in the dirt. Swung and a miss, strike 3. And just like that, we're through the first inning. Chase Cockrell strikes out 2 in a row to end the inning for Bibby, as well as the caught stolen base, or the attempted stolen base from Michael Spears. Nonetheless, though, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. Brandon Lewis stranded at first base. We're through a full inning here from George Sparky Anderson Field. Jones, Zaragoza, Cash, the bottom 3 due up for the Foresters when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Top 2 here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Thank you for joining us. He's Jordan Brenner. My name is Jonathan Rifkind. Foresters up over the Oaks early 3-0, and they're hungry for more as Utah Jones leads things off here. He was phenomenal last time against the Oaks, ended up going 3 for 5. Lavallee now dealing to the southpaw. The first pitch shows bunt, pulled back, called a strike nonetheless. Lavallee starts him out 0-1. Well, folks, has your child ever dreamt of playing college baseball? Well, here is their chance to practice with some of the best collegiate players in the country at the Caneo Oaks Baseball Summer Camp. Lavallee offers the 0-1, missing low and away to even the count. From July 24th to July 26th at Caneo Creek Field in Thousand Oaks, the Oaks will be offering a baseball training camp from ages 6 to 16. 1-1 pitch, fouled back, 1 ball, 2 strikes, now to Utah Jones. $75 per camper from ages 6 to 11, $100 per camper from ages 12 to 16. For inquiries, email info@oaksbaseball.org or fill out the form on the Oaks Baseball website. Once again, baseball camp, July 24th to July 26th. It's going to be a fun one. If you have children, why not participate? 1-2 pitch, runs away, 2-2 the count.
That was a good pitch from Lavallee. An unusual pitch on 1 and 2, trying to paint the outside corner, but just couldn't scrape the edge.
Jones showing a lot of calm collectiveness in the batter's box. Strikes 3 on the outside corner. A curveball got him. Maybe a little too calm in there. And that's the first strikeout of the ball game here for Lavallee, coming in the second inning. Out number 1 up on the board now.
And that fastball that he just missed on the outside corner set that pitch up. He started the off-speed pitch in the right-hander's batter's box and had plenty of spin in it. Just got the edge for the first strikeout of the ball game for Lavallee.
Gorgeous Outside corner curveball, perhaps the best pitch we've seen from Lavallee today. Doesn't get any easier with Brandon Zaragoza stepping in from Oklahoma. First pitch up and in for ball one.
And I think that strikeout's big for Lavallee's confidence. You know, the Foresters' first 3 guys getting aboard, hitting him hard. If he can settle in here, that would be a major positive for Conejo.
Strike at the knees, evens the count. Zaragoza on the season batting .241, 6 RBIs. He's also struck out 12 times, walked twice. Lavallee trying to retire him here, give his team some confidence. Foresters currently hold all the momentum after that big Luke Ritter home run to make it 3-0. That one slapped past the diving glove of Lewis at third in the left field. And Zaragoza is on with a single. The bottom of this order, the top of this order, the middle of this order, it does not matter. The Foresters can hit. And it doesn't matter who you're playing or who you're facing as a pitcher on this team. Everybody's dangerous, and your field has to be ready. I think Lewis got a bad jump out there at third. Had he jumped as soon as the ball came off the bat, I think he could have made that play. But nonetheless, Zaragoza is on first base, and Ryan Cash, the dangerous Oklahoma State Cowboy, stepping in. Batting .321 this season. Leads the team in at-bats. No home runs, but he has 14 RBIs. First pitch, a strike on the outside corner. He does lead the team in triples, too, with 4. That's good for second in the CCL. 3 runs, 4 hits early for the Foresters. No runs, 2 hits for the Oaks. No errors on either side. Lavallee checks that runner at first. Rocks and fires the 0-1 outside. One's across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away, and 1 on.
Lavallee, a fastball slider changeup combination. We've seen the fastball and the slider featured heavily, but if he can get that changeup going, that's the key pitch to keeping this Foresters lineup off balance.
1-1 pitch is slapped foul down the left field line. The Oaks had Jackson Simonsgard tossing before, headed to Rogers State in the fall, and he actually has a very interesting connection to this Forester team when he comes out. If he comes out, we'll give you more on what that connection is. But first, Lavallee still doing some work on the mound. Double play situation, 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. I think the frame caught the umpire's eye, and that is Drew Sims doing what he does best. Saving balls, giving his pitcher strikes, and putting outs up on the board.
And Jonathan, there's the changeup right there. Ryan Cash had no chance. That's the first one he's thrown in a while. Definitely the first one that Cash saw, and he saved it in his back pocket for the perfect time. And Cash was just frozen at the plate right there.
2 away, a runner on first. Logan Allen digging back in, 1 for 1. Start off the game with a single. Takes a curveball on the inside corner for strike 1. The breaking pitches have been working for Lavallee. It's been the fastballs that have been hit. And I think he may rely a little bit more heavily on those curveballs, or those breaking pitches, if you will. That can be a problem, because if you hang one accidentally after throwing too many, the fastball slapped off the left foot of Allen.
Well, the more you use the off-speed, the more effective the fastball is going to be. So I think if he can get a good balance of all 3 of those pitches, he'll be able to keep batters off balance the whole way through.
The runner on first, Zaragoza, singled with 1 out. Ryan Cash struck out following him to put out number 2 up on the board. Logan Allen trying to keep this inning alive. The Arkansas Fort Smith baseball player steps in, takes a pitch upstairs, check swing. Did he go? No, says the first place umpire, though. The Oaks dugout didn't like it. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Even if he didn't go there, that was just a nasty pitch from Lavallee after the off-speeders to start off the at-bat and the fastball inside as well. That was a great pitch located above the chest.
1-2 pitch, fouled back. Zaragoza did go, but with a 1-2 count and 2 away, it doesn't make sense why he would. But right now, Logan Allen's still fighting to stay alive here. 3-0. The Oaks have a little bit of an uphill climb, but with the way this offense has been playing, certainly not undoable, especially here in the second inning. But after 2 singles, they left the one runner on base back in the first inning after a pair of strikeouts ended the inning. Lavallee steps off here. Jackson Simonsgard does indeed continue to warm up, throwing to Bryce Vitt, who's catching in the bullpen today. Heads to Sonoma State in the fall. We've only seen Jackson Simonsgard for 1 inning this season so far. 1-2 pitch, pounces in the dirt. Sims blocks it, though, and that limits Zaragoza to first base. No more damage done. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count, but Simonsgard's best outings always come against the Foresters. Last season, brought his ERA under 2 for the season in the final matchup against the Foresters, where he struck out 8, including the final 2 batters to win the game 7-6 for the Oaks. And he loves playing this team. So you know he's excited to get out there. 2-2, runner goes. Sky to left field, though very shallow. At a short, Sam Shaken gets under it and makes the catch. Out number 3 now. Retires the top of the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a pair of strikeouts, and 1 left on base. 3-0 remains the score. The Oaks have Elijah Alexander, Sam Shaken, and Tyler Ryan due up here in the bottom of the inning when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The UTRGV product, Elijah Alexander, who made his name here in the Conejo Valley when he played for the Camarillo High School Scorpions, and thereafter at Ventura College, digs in here. The Oaks trailing 3-0, and Bibby looks to keep it that way as he offers the first pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 88-mile-an-hour fastball, tied for the slowest fastball we've seen today from Bibby. That hits about the average of what Lavallee was throwing in the last inning. The Fullerton Titan offers the 0-1. A strike on the outside corner. And Elijah Alexander has been slumping just a little bit here in the middle part of this season. And I think he has gotten a little bit more passive in the batter's box. He's not swinging as much as we've been accustomed to, especially when he was that triple off of the cycle back against San Luis Obispo 2 weeks ago. Pops that one up towards third in foul territory, though. Jones out of third base. Steps to the right of the line and makes the catch for out number 1.
He did hit a little bit of a dip for a little while, but his 3-for-5 game in the second half of the doubleheader tells me that he's seeing the ball a little bit better right now.
Came into that at-bat batting 294. That was down from 328 2 weeks ago. 294 is still phenomenal, and you're right. He did come back a little bit from his slump in that second game, though right there popping out for out number 1. Now it's up to Sam Shaken from Valparaiso stepping in. First pitch to him. Bounces in the dirt for ball 1. Shaken in his second year with the team, batting 271. His numbers are down from last season, but still contributing on base percentage at 431. 1-0 offering. Big swing and a miss. And Bibby isn't throwing anything other than that fastball for the most part. We've seen a couple of breaking pitches, but that fastball has been effective because he's changing up speeds. He's going between 88 and 95, and from a batter's eye, that's a significant difference in miles per hour, keeping them off balance. Deals the 1-1. Shaken cracks that to second. Hank Lafort backhands it over to first. Warren digs it out of the dirt for out number 2. Lafort returning to the Foresters after a very successful season with the Fullerton Titans. His third season with the team. He actually broke his hand 2 years ago, if I recall correctly, and that was when he was leading the Foresters in batting average. The Foresters had just such a phenomenal team. He actually went 3 for 6 against the Oaks in the 4th of July game with 2 home runs. But here, playing second base and hitting baseballs in 2018. 2 outs and Tyler Ryan stepping in. Takes a breaking pitch upstairs for ball 1. Ryan was slumping, but broke out of it a little bit this weekend. He hit a 2-run homer in the 10th inning when the Oaks had to complete a game that was suspended against the Catch to give the Oaks a 6-4 win. Had a pair of doubles in the second game and a double in the first game of the doubleheader on Sunday. Slider in there for strike 1.
He also hit that second home run over the weekend. Forget which game it was in. I believe it was in the second game. No, it was in the first game of the doubleheader. Ryan had his second bomb of the weekend.
1-1 offering here from Bibby. Big swing and a miss. Strike 2. That was such a great pitch at 82. He is throwing strikes, though, and these strikes aren't subtle. They are more or less over the heart of the plate, and eventually this Conejo Oaks team will probably pick up on it. But until then, Bibby's just going to keep on rolling as he offers the 1-2 here to Ryan. Big fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 3, 96 on the gun, the fastest of the day. 3 strikeouts on the game. The Oaks are retired. 1-2-3 here in the second inning. 3-0 remains the score. Top of the third when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Hank Lafort leads things off here. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored back in the first inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Oaks is Jackson Simonsgard out of Ventura College, but headed to Rogers State in Oklahoma in the fall. Jonathan Lavallee went 2 innings, gave 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Simonsgard was injured, so he was rehabbing for most of the season. He's only pitched an inning. Bunt shown from Lafort, pulled back, called strike 1. And Jackson Simonsgard, for all intents and purposes, owes his scholarship that was given to him by Rogers State to the Santa Barbara Foresters. Last season, the Oaks beat the Foresters. Simonsgard played phenomenal, as I mentioned, as the 0-1 offering. A sky to right field. Tyler Ryan giving way. So is Elijah Alexander, and Alexander makes the catch out of center field for out number 1. But after a phenomenal game where Simonsgard shut down the back end of the Foresters, Skylar Ellis, an assistant coach for the Foresters and assistant coach for Rogers State University, came up to Jackson and asked him, where are you going in the fall? And Jackson said, I actually have 1 more year at Ventura College. I got injured, so I'm eligible for another year. And he said, well, do you have a place you're going to commit? And Jackson said, not really. And Skylar Ellis said, I'm surprised. Why don't you come and play for Rogers State? Luke Ritter steps in and takes a looping curveball at 66 in there for strike 1. He had that home run back in the first inning with 3 RBIs. But Coach Ellis came up, and Jackson and him talked for a little while and watched more tape, and eventually they signed Jackson. 0-1 pitch, swung on a miss, strike 2. And, Jackson is vocally not an advocate for the Foresters. He will be the first to tell you that he is not a fan. He respects the team, but he doesn't like it, as he told me. But he owes a big part of what was coming to him in the fall to Coach Ellis, and he knows that, and he's so humble about it. 0-2 pitch, called strike 3 at the belt. Sends Luke Ritter down looking for his first strikeout. And that's where he left off with the Foresters last season. Jackson is on his 5th stint with the Oaks. He struggled his first 3 seasons, actually. Last year, all of a sudden broke out, sub-2 ERA, a lot of strikeouts. He came in injured this season. The team was very excited to have him back, but it was a long couple of weeks before he finally took the mound here today, obviously in a more consistent role than that one inning he pitched previously. So he deals a beautiful curveball, and Chase Illig swung and a miss for strike one. But overall, Coach Dave Solis and the Oaks are more than happy to have Jackson back on the mound, and I'm sure Skylar Ellis, the coach at Rogers State, as he throws a strike there for number 2 to Illig, and the assistant coach for the Foresters wouldn't be upset if Jackson Simonsgaard shut down the Foresters again, just because what translates here in summer ball will likely translate over at Rogers State for Jackson. Deals the 0-2. Bounces in the dirt. I think Sims tried to really frame that in the strike zone, though. The umpire wasn't biting there. 1-2 the count. You talk about Jackson and his attitude. He is just such an incredible human being. He's always out there helping. I have another story about Jackson that I may have to wait until the bottom of the inning. 1-2 pitch to Illig. Cracked foul. We were coming back from the academy, the LMB Urban Youth Academy on Sunday, and the team stopped for Panda Express. And we actually ordered one bowl short. Jackson runs in the Panda Express, gets all the bowls, whatever, bus leaves, and he's handing out bowls, he's handing out waters. He's kind of like the camp counselor, if you will. And one person was missing a bowl, and he said, you know what, you can have mine. So there's a curveball in the dirt, swung on and missed. Illig goes down swinging. The selfless Jackson Simonsgaard. Not so selfless right there on that one. A nasty pitch strikes out Illig for out number 3. 2 on the game. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Simonsgaard attacks the Foresters and retires them all in order. We're through 2.5. Oaks side of things coming up. 3-0 the score. The Utah Valley University catcher, Drew Sims, leads things off here with Tanner Bibby back on the mound, protecting a 3-0 lead. First pitch up and in for ball 1. Sims on the season, well, he's been phenomenal. 364 is his batting average. One of a trio of phenomenal Oaks catchers, but has solidified himself as perhaps the best. 1-0 pitch, a strike at the knees to even the count. But you can't go wrong with Kamenko, Vitt, or Sims. Sims just the tallest, the most powerful. And behind the plate, he is just a maestro. 1-1 offering. A beautiful fastball in the outside corner at 93. But Sims behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bibby working quickly. And that's a big deal because that keeps batters off balance, and the Oaks look pretty off balance so far in these at-bats. The 1-2 in, big swing and a miss, strike 3. Bibby kicks off the 3rd, where he left off the 2nd with a strikeout swinging, his 4th of the ball game.
Not much you can do if you're the Oaks, because in a situation where you're losing by 3 runs early in the ball game, you want to take some pitches, get on first base through the walk, but you can't do that when Bibby just doesn't throw balls.
3 of the 4 Oaks strikeouts, I should say, as the first pitch to Tanner Wright bounces in the dirt. 3 of the 4 Oaks strikeouts have been by a high fastball. That's how effective this guy's heat is. Cal Lutheran product steps back in, slaps the 1-0 foul. You talk about a guy who doesn't strike out, Tanner Wright. Only 6 strikeouts in 77 plate appearances. He's batting .319. The only Division III player in this lineup, and he plays like he's from a Division I university. Just so reliable. Takes the 1-1, low and away. Appeal says he didn't go. 2 balls and a strike now to Wright. And he knows that he's one of the biggest contributors to his team. Yes, these guys come from bigger name schools than Cal Lutheran, perhaps, but that doesn't matter here. What matters is you're playing. He takes that pitch upstairs, 3-1. And his play has been speaking volumes for this team. Solomon makes errors out there at second. He rarely strikes out. Takes a 3-1 inside, and you talk about taking pitches here, Jordan. Wright does just that. A 5-pitch walk puts him at first base.
Well, that's what Tanner Wright specializes in.
Only his 7th walk drawn on the season, though. And now 78 plate appearances, but the Oaks will take it on the season. Tanner Wright is 5 for 7 in stolen bases. He's on first. Michael Spears, who singled and then was caught stealing third base, steps in. Bibby checks right, nods and fires the first pitch, a fastball. Missing low and away. Want to know the count. It has been a quick first 3 innings here. Foresters got off quickly, a 3-0 lead back in the first off a 3-run shot by Luke Ritter. But since then, neither team has really done much. Curveball called a strike on the outside corner to even the count. Three runs, 4 hits for the Foresters. No runs, 2 hits for the Oaks. No errors on either side. Bibby takes a breath, toes the rubber and offers 1-1. Big swing and miss, strike 2. Spears was way out ahead of that breaking pitch. And you talk about a guy with stuff. Only 2 pitches we've seen from Bibby, a fastball and what looks to be more of a slider than a curveball, but does have some of that curveball break. And both have been effective. Calmly deals the 1-2. Chopper down in the third, but it's fielded by Oaks third base coach Brian Wilson. We'll do it again. Brian Wilson actually has an interesting story. He was an incredible talent at Central Arkansas University. That was way back in the day, like 10 years ago. For us, it was way back in the day, at least. For him, he still maintains that he's young and spry. He does hit home runs, though, here during batting practice, just to show off his talent. 1-2 in. Skied out of play into the parking lot. Pretty close to that Forester bus. Forester bus painted in the Forester maroon, blue, and white. It has all of their World Baseball Congress championships painted on the back. Of course, the Foresters have been champions 23 times. Look for 24 this season once the CCL season concludes. Bibby from the belt, runner goes, taken upstairs, the throw, and not in time. That was off the wrong side. Illich had Lafort over there at second. Tanner Wright somehow slid under the glove of Lafort, and he has his 6th stolen base of the season. The Oaks have a runner in scoring position, but a 2-2 count up on the board.
Tanner Wright got away with one there. Not the best jump in the world, but he made up for it with a really, really good slide. Well-timed slide, getting under the tag of Lafort at second.
2-2 here to Spears. Bibby checks the runner and deals a curveball, swung on and missed, and actually that was a slider nonetheless. Spears strikes out on a 2-2 breaking pitch, the 5th of the day here. And now 2 outs are up on the board. The Oaks coming into this game, their biggest Achilles heel has been runners left on base. And now you finally get a runner in scoring position in a big game, in a ball game that is still very much within reach, and you don't want to strand him. And Brandon Lewis will try to do just that. He's 1 for 1 with a single. He was stranded on first base back in the first inning. First pitch to the Irvine slugger. Cracked down the first base line, but foul. Strike 1. The Foresters headed by 29-year man Bill Pintard. He's a Yankee scout. Was in the Angels organization for a while. Started with the Yankees, moved to the Angels, and then went back to the Yankees. And perhaps the most successful summer collegiate coach definitely in the CCL, if not in the country. He's put together time and time again a dynasty for the Foresters. 0-1 pitch, though, misses up and away here from Bibby to even the count to Lewis. Think about a guy in Brandon Lewis who doesn't ground out very often. When he gets out loud, mostly in the outfield. This past weekend, a trio of home runs. You're looking for more here. 1-1 offering. Beautiful off speeder, swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. But Lewis, in his second year, has found success for the Foresters. Last season, he had 4 home runs in the 6 games these two teams played. Has yet to have one here, but this is matchup number 2 of 4 this season. The Oaks will be in Santa Barbara for 2 away games next weekend. This weekend, the Oaks have the Riptide away and the Riptide at home. And there's only 2 weekday games this week. The game against the Northridge Bolts, as time is called, and Illig wants to talk to his pitcher. The Northridge Bolts were originally scheduled for last week, and then they were put off to this week to either Thursday or Friday, but they just called in this morning and said that they are going to cancel, so the Oaks actually have Thursday and Friday off, uncharacteristically, before they have to go to Fullerton on Saturday. But every game counts now. Playoff race really heating up. Foresters sitting comfortably in first. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Brandon Lewis is retired, and we'll have to leave it there. 6 strikeouts now in the game for Bibby through the first 3 innings, and that's where we'll leave you. 3-0 the score. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Oaks strand Tanner Wright at second base. The 4th inning when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Connor Davis.
Back here for the 4th inning of baseball between the Oaks and the Foresters. The Oaks trailing 3-0, and for everything that you need to know about this game between the 4th and the 6th innings, my broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great job today. Simon's guard right back on the hill. It's been a pleasure to watch him throw today. We only got a taste earlier this season, but now we see him in extended work versus Connor Davis to lead off this inning. Off speed, 63 miles an hour on the gun. Stays up and away. The count is 1-0. The Foresters came out swinging, but since then, this game's been pretty even. Here's the 1-0 pitch. At the knees, called a strike. 1-1.
But as we know, sometimes that first inning where you get up early can be the difference in the ballgame. You can no-hit a team for the rest of the day, but if you don't compete offensively, you're not going to win baseball games.
Absolutely true. The 1-1 delivery stays outside, 2-1.
Which goes to my point of view that offense wins games and not defense. I don't like that saying.
Well, there are times where offense can certainly win you games, but there's a place for defense, there's a place for pitching too. Simon's guard steps off, grabs some dirt, maybe a little bit of moisture in his hands that he needs to get rid of.
And you know what I'm seeing differently here, Jordan, from Jackson versus the last 2 years I've seen him pitch here for the Oaks. And last year he was amazing. His mechanics. He's so much more fluid with the way he pitches.
He is a seasoned pro on the mound. The 2-1, a rip and a miss. Count even at 2.
And he doesn't throw very hard, you know, in the mid-80s on that fastball. That fastball is at 81, but it's about his placement. And as a lefty, he knows how to keep these batters off balance. You look at his leg kick. He actually extends out, hesitates, and then releases. And it really takes batters off balance.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the Auburn Tiger. Simon's guard from the belt peers in for his sign, a raise of the knee, and here's the pitch. Rip foul out of play. And the count stays the same. And Jonathan, you mentioned you can win the game with offense. The Oaks like to win their games late in the game. And that's exactly what happened. Well, actually, it's what almost happened against the Foresters last time they played here in Thousand Oaks. Similar to today, the Foresters jumped on top, but the Oaks fought back late in the ball game, just couldn't scrape by that Bart West run at the end of the game. And that was when the Oaks were playing perhaps their worst baseball of the season. It's a different story now.
They had the same situation the next day against the Saints.
2-2 pitch, off-speed line to the first baseman, McFarland all over it. Only needs a couple steps to grab that one out of the air. And there's the first out of the inning. So one away now for the big right-handed hitter, number 45, Cameron Warren, out of Texas Tech. Hit a fly out to the right fielder, Tyler Ryan, to end the first inning. Simon's Guard's first pitch. Fastball stays upstairs and a little bit away. 1 ball, no strikes. And every time I'm on play-by-play, I like to go with a theme for the broadcast. So today I thought, in the spirit of the Oaks and Foresters' epic rivalry, I'd give some stories from some of the world's best sports rivalries. So 1-0 pitch comes in on the inside corner, called a strike. We'll get to those in the innings coming. 1-1 and out. Simon's Guard delivers the pitch. A high skyer behind home plate coming right at us. And behind the stadium, off the roof and out of play. And 1-2. And Drew Sims and Simon's Guard, they seem to be building a little bit of a chemistry right now. Simon's Guard, so emotional. He shows his feelings on the mound. And he has a really good chemistry going with Sims. It's almost as if they're thinking the same thing. It's the 1-2 pitch, skied inside the infield, right to McFarland in foul territory, and he makes the play for the second out of the inning.
You talk about Jackson's chemistry. I mean, I was talking about the story about how he, quote-unquote, is kind of the camp counselor. He makes a joke that he's a player intern because during his injury, he was helping the ticket booth out. He's just such a social guy, and all he wants to do is make others around him happy and better. He's built a special relationship with, I think, everybody on this team, and that translates to his play on the field.
2 outs, nobody on. Utah Jones, the new hitter, takes a fastball inside. 1-0. Reiteration of your infield: Cockrell, Alexander, Tyler Ryan in the outfield. Lewis shaking left side, right McFarland right side. Drew Sims behind the plate. This is the A lineup for head coach Solis. No doubt about it. The 1-0 pitch. Another fly ball foul. That'll be out of play. However, Lewis, Simon's Guard, and Sims go over to have a look.
They set the trio.
Pretty big crowd on hand today. A lot of kids in the ballpark.
Yeah, the Conejo Valley Little League in attendance today, courtesy of our team ops head, Becca Wilson. She does such a phenomenal job with our community outreach.
A good opportunity to see 2 of the best summer collegiate teams on the West Coast. Maybe even in the country. 1 ball, 1 strike. Simon's Guard peers in. Curveball on the ground, foul. It's 1-2.
I think the Warren Gateman of the Cape Cod League would have a bone to pick with you, Jordan, if you told them that the CCL had the 2 best teams in the country. With that being
I didn't say 2. I said among them.
I agree with that. I think they are amongst. But, of course, you have the Bellingham Bells up in the West Coast League. You have and basically every team in the Northwoods League. But I don't disagree with your statement.
Glad to hear it. 1-2, fastball high, and the count is now even.
If you're Jackson, do you go back to the curveball here in a 2-2 count? It's been working.
I think Simon's Guard has such control of any pitch, or of all pitches right now. It doesn't really matter what he goes to as long as he locates it well. There's a changeup down in the dirt, and the count is full. For Simon's guard, it's a fastball curveball changeup combination for the lefty. Sat out the majority of the season due to an injury, but starting to work his way back up. Full count pitch, hit hard but foul. Just about a foot outside the third base bag. And Simon's guard doing a little bit of a stretch with his left arm. Slightly odd, but we all know that baseball players have their niches. 3-2 pitch. Simon's guard working quickly. A fly ball left field. Relatively deep. Cockrell on the move towards the track. Makes the grab to end the top of the fourth inning. Simon's guard goes 1-2-3 again for the second consecutive inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. To the bottom of the fourth we go. For the Oaks, it'll be McFarland, Cockrell, and Alexander when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the fourth inning begins with Jordan McFarland, and as I promised, I'm going to get you some of those epic sports rivalry stories. Right now, we're going to start off with Dodgers-Giants, but first, the first pitch from Bibby. Fastball, maybe an off-speed pitch, just below the knees. It's 1-0. From the belt, Bibby offers. Also low, it's 2-0. The first story I'll give started in 1912 on opening day. This is back when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants. 2-0 pitch, runs high and inside, and McFarland working to get on base well after striking out in the first inning. The police were called after 6 innings in an 18-3 ball game. 3-0 catches the inside corner. And that's because it was so crowded in this stadium that it was almost dangerous. That's how much people cared. 3-1 fouled back, and the count is full. Bibby does a good job getting right back into this at-bat. And that's what I've noticed from Bibby so far. He is very resilient on the mound. And he never panics, even when he gets himself into a little bit of a pickle. Full count, Cockrell on deck. Here's the pitch. Off speed on the inside corner and at the knees. McFarland knew it. Turns his head, walks to the dugout. Strikeout number 7 for Bibby. And the first out is on the board here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
5 of the last 6 batters the Oaks have brought up to plate have been sent down via the strikeout. How about Bibby's day right now? He has been untouchable.
Chase Cockrell was pretty much overmatched in the first inning. He was struck out swinging. Swings at the first pitch. It's a very high fly ball off the roof in foul territory on the right side. It's 0-1. Next story I'm going to give in the Dodgers-Giants rivalry, Jackie Robinson. He's known as one of the all-time great Dodgers in history, but he was actually traded to the Giants on December 13th, 1956. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Cockrell. There's the slider outside corner, 0-2, and Bibby He's on some type of roll, Jonathan. Maybe the nastiest pitcher. Definitely one of the nastiest pitchers we've seen all year.
Day isn't even over yet.
Not near it. 0-2. Cockrell awaits the pitch. Ground ball over to the third baseman, Utah Jones. Sidearm gets Cockrell by about 3 steps. 2 outs recorded here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So after Jackie Robinson was traded, here's how the story goes. Robinson, rather than playing for the hated Giants, opted to retire. So he never played a game as a Giant despite being traded there. He chose retirement over playing for the Dodgers.
Sounds like what the Red Sox fans wanted Johnny Damon to do when he went over to the Yankees.
Alexander checks his swing on the first pitch. No, he did not go, according to the third base umpire, 1-0. And that's almost a little bit of a myth. There's an aura around that story, but it's not a completely true story.
Are you lying to us on air?
A little bit. 1-0 lined into right field. Drops for a hit. Alexander checks in. His first hit of the ball game. That story is romanticized because in reality, Jackie Robinson actually retired before the trade was even made.
Oh.
I guess the Giants saw firsthand how good Robinson was his whole career and took that gamble that he would come out of retirement to play with them.
No dice, though, apparently. Can you imagine Jackie Robinson in a San Francisco uniform?
I can't. I definitely cannot. Shaken takes a first pitch fastball, 89 on the clock. 1 ball, no strikes.
It's like putting Jackson Simonsgard in a Forester uniform.
Just doesn't work.
Some things just don't match.
1-0. Shaken awaits in his go-to stance. There's the slider. Starts a strike, but doesn't end like one. And the count is 2-0. And, of course, the Dodgers-Giants rivalry still bruised today. I mean, there's a deep-rooted hatred among fans in the Bay and the L.A. area. And also between those teams. 2-0 to Shaken. Fouled back. He was right on that pitch, but he just missed it. 2-1. Of course, the Giants will say, well, we're the kings of the NL West. We had 3 World Series in the last decade. And Dodgers will say, well, we always win the division. You guys always are the wild card representative. As the throw over to first is not in time.
Can I just say that that's such a bad argument? Because at the end of the day, whether you're a wild card or the #1 seed, if you win a championship, you win a championship. You get all the bragging rights. It doesn't matter what seed you are. If you're a Dodger fan making that argument, stop making that argument.
I have to concur, despite my hatred for the Giants, that they have been the beasts of the West the last decade. As the 2-1 is a slider. Starts at Shaken, and it slides right over the middle of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alexander is on first base. Dropped a base hit into right field. Shaken ready for the 2-2 delivery. A long peer in, a check of first base, a raise of the knee. But first a long pause. And Shaken's going to step out. He's having none of that.
Yeah, that was such a long pause. I think that we were all thrown off a little bit. But Bibby doing what he does best right now, keeping batters off balance after giving up that single to Alexander. And a 2-0 count here to Shaken. Shaken was able to work his way ahead, but Bibby quickly firing away back, and now it's 2-2.
A long pause again, and the 2-2 toss. In the dirt, good take from Shaken. The snap throw back over to first base. Alexander back in time, and the count is full. And this is a really big at-bat for Shaken. If he can get aboard, you have the scorching hot, suddenly Aaron Judge-esque Tyler Ryan on deck. With all those home runs. Maybe a little bit of a stretch. But
Aaron Judge didn't work out in the area a couple years ago, so it's not too far-fetched. But I still think that maybe a little too much of praise. But Tyler Ryan certainly deserves the highest of honors right now.
Full count, swing, and a miss. Number 8 on the ball game for Tanner Bibby. And any time he seems to be in any sort of trouble. Well, he wiggles his way out. We've played 4 full innings. No runs a hit. No errors, a runner left aboard. To the 5th we go, and we're treated to Jackson Simon's guard again. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Oaks and Foresters on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Shortstop number 9.
Simon's guard has faced 6 hitters so far. He's gotten 2 strikeouts, and he's retired the other 4 in various ways. But no hits given up so far. And here's the new hitter, Brandon Zaragoza. The Oklahoma Sooner digs in from the right side of the plate. Simon's guard, as he usually is, quickly ready to go. First pitch. In there, strike 1. That looked like a sinker, but I really don't know with Simon's guard. He makes the ball move in some funky, funky ways.
Jumpin' Jackson.
Jumpin' Jackson. 0-1 pitch. Another heater. Foul territory to the right side, but it shifts out of play. No balls, 2 strikes.
Watch out for that curveball now, starting up at 1 o'clock and coming down at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock if you're looking at the clock format, but this is a good opportunity to do it.
Looping curveball, but no problem for Zaragoza. Drops a base hit into center field. And the first hit Simon's guard has given up is a base hit to lead off the top of the 5th inning.
Zaragoza 2 for 2. He's been down the count twice, and both times he's made something out of it. He's been struggling for Forester standards this season, up in the 260s in batting average, but to be able to bounce back 0-2 on 2 consecutive at-bats and knock them both for singles, that shows a lot of resilience, and he's trying to get out of that little bit of a slump that he's worked his way into coming into this game.
A runner on first base now for Ryan Cash. He's 0 for 1. Struck out looking in the second. Tap foul. 0-1.
How about how quickly this game is going here, Jordan? Already in the midway through the 5th and only an hour and 10 minutes in.
And that's what happens when you have Bibby on one side, shutting down the Oaks with 8 strikeouts, and Jackson on the other side, stifling Santa Barbara hitters. Throws over to first base just to check on Zaragoza. Keep him close. Still 0-1. Oaks are at double play depth. Outfield is in no doubles to prevent Zaragoza from scoring on the double. Simon's guards, 0-1 pitch. Down and in. Good stop from Sims. He's working hard behind the plate. Count even at 1.
Yeah, Drew Sims' last start back against the SoCal Catch on Saturday. He got beaten up behind the plate. He was the catalyst of a foul ball that hit his left wrist. As a batter, he was hit by a pitch on his right elbow that he had to shake off. And then there was a broken bat that went through his catcher's mask, the shards that is, and went into his eye. About a rough weekend.
1-1 runner goes. Ground ball through the middle for a base hit. Zaragoza around second will get to third base on a perfectly executed hit and run. And now runners at the corners with nobody out and also nobody up in the Oaks bullpen. This is Simonsgaard's inning to finish.
That was the bottom of the order. Now, Ryan Cash, I wouldn't necessarily qualifies as a number 9 hitter. Bill Pintard purposely puts him down there because he knows that if he can get the 7th or 8th hitter on, Ryan Cash will likely bring them around or advance them in some way, and that's exactly what the strategy was, and it worked perfectly right there.
Yeah, Cash, far from your typical 9-hitter, 321 in 78 at-bats. Runners at the corners, nobody out for Allen, who's 1 for 2. Fastball jammed him, a little looping fly ball that just carries out of play. McFarland had a look near the Barbara dugout. It's 0-1.
And even though he's wearing sunglasses, you can bet Jordan McFarland really wanted that because a pop out into foul territory would have been a significant out with runners at the corners and no outs. But
what do you mean, even though he's wearing sunglasses?
Because the look in his eye, you can't see the look in his eye, but you know that the look in his eye was hungry for that ball.
Your level of thinking is simply 3 or 4 steps above mine, John.
That goes without saying, Jordan.
No balls a strike.
I'm just kidding. You are quite an intelligent young man. Sometimes.
Anyway, the 0-1 pitch, runners at the corners. Simonsgaard, almost a quick pitch. A fly ball, right field. Tanner Wright at the line, makes a basket catch. Runner begins to go, and Simonsgaard, backing up Drew Sims, saves a run for the Conejo Oaks right there.
Saved the run from himself. I'm not exactly sure. I know why Tanner Wright did it, because that third Zaragoza pretended like he was going to go. He was dancing on the lines, but Simonsgaard heads up baseball right there, backing up the catcher, which is fundamentals that a lot of players ignore. Saved himself a run. Be a pop out to 4 in foul territory for those keeping score at home.
Hank Lafort is the new hitter. The lefty who has a swing or a stance very similar to Kyle Schwarber of the Cubs. Lines a base hit, and it drops into right field. One runner will score. Coming in from third, Zaragoza, Cash over to second base, and Lafort onto the second base hit to right field of the day, this time for an RBI.
He has a swing like Kyle Schwarber as well, knocking that one in the shallow right field for a base hit.
So Simonsgaard gives up his first run of the 2018 summer season. And it does come against the Foresters. A quick meeting now between Sims and Simonsgaard before the new hitter, Luke Ritter, steps in. Luke Ritter, 272 this year. Has added 2 home runs, 5 extra base hits, and 17 RBIs. First and second and out. The pitch. Curveball stays high, 65 miles an hour. I don't know. And now will we see some action in the Oaks bullpen? It looks like Joe Torres is going to get up and throw. The swing man who can do anything. Trots over to the bullpen. 1-0 from Simonsgaard. That snake-like look. And he gets a fastball on the inside corner called a strike. And Ritter could not believe it, almost laughed it off as he took a couple steps out of the batter's box to compose himself. Oaks will take it, though. I'm sure Simonsgaard cannot like it when Ritter does that, but he'll take it out on him on the field. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on. Simonsgaard checks the runner at second. Both runners go on the hit and run. It's fouled out of play towards the Foresters' bus, and now rolling over to the pool area. 1-2. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Foresters. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Conejo Oaks. Ritter from Wichita State twirls his bat on his shoulder. Simon's guard checking the runner again. Now he steps off. Cash on second. He hit a base hit up the middle. And on first base, Mafort, he hit a base hit to right. Runners go again. And another fastball tip back to the screen. And we'll do 1 and 2 again.
These Oaks are getting very lucky that Simon's guards' fastballs have been eluding the big barrel of Luke Ritter. Both of those very hittable. Ritter just under them. So you have to wonder what Jackson's going to do here. The hit and run is very much still on. They're trying to avoid that double play. The Foresters are. And maybe a buried curveball is the way to go here, and then try to throw out the runner at third.
1-2. Here's the pitch. A hard hit ball left field. Coming in and making the grab, Cockrell. He took a step back first as if it was going to be over his head. But that's the right instinct for a left fielder. He comes in, makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Really good pitch from Simon's guard there.
Especially in a field like this, you have to know the grounds. And Cal Lutheran as an outfielder is very tricky because you have the wind forever blowing into the valley from the hill from left to right. So it tends to bring balls that look like they're very hard hit off the bat back into play. And Cockrell misjudged it originally as Dave Solis comes out to the mound. It looks like Joe Torres will probably come in, but Cockrell made the adjustment, realized that the wind was pushing that ball back forward instead of backwards, and quickly adjust to make that catch. And that was a big catch right there.
So meeting on the mound as we hear the Jaws soundtrack for Coach Solis trotting out.
Yeah, he told us on the bus on Sunday that one of his favorite movies was Jaws. So in the spirit of that, our team ops team downstairs decided to play with it a little bit. I doubt he even hears it out there on the mound, and I don't know why he would, but
he's so focused in on this game. Of course, we'll have a conversation letting him know about it after the game, and yeah, I'm sure we'll have a good laugh. But maybe not too big if the Oaks don't come out on top.
Of course, sometimes he acts like he and Bill Pintard both act like Jaws, jawing at each other. 2 years ago on the 4th of July, both the managers got tossed in a game, as well as 2 players on both sides. Last year, Solis got a big warning, so did Pintard. There's always a little bit of rivalry. These two coaches, you look at them before a game, and they're friends. They're standing there. They're shaking hands. They're talking about the players. They talked for a good 20 minutes today before the game when the Foresters were taking batting practice. And once the game starts, though, that friendship goes out the window, and it's all rivalry baseball all of the time.
Some expert insight from our own Jonathan Rifkin. I was actually about to say the same story, but you said it much better than I could ever have.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Jordan.
Chase Illig, the catcher, swings through a changeup in the dirt, 0-1. And I love what Coach Solis did. Simon's guard, such an emotional, passionate pitcher, leaving him in for one more hitter, letting him try and get out of the jam that he created. Illig is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a flyout. Simon's guard steps out and looks. Ryan Cash back to second base. There's a very big gap out in right field. Outfield is playing at a depth in which they could throw out a runner at the plate if they get a base hit. But that'll be tough no matter where it lands in the outfield because Cash on second base has some serious speed. A fly ball not deep. Center field, can of corn for Alexander. And Simon's guard gets out of the inning. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. The Oaks a chance to get back into this ball game when they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-0 Foresters. Will be back in just about a minute here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Tyler Ryan leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. The powerful righty out of the University of Pacific. 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Bibby back on the hill for his 5th inning of work. Ryan up swinging, cranks one on the ground to the third baseman Jones, no problem. A great defensive play made look easy. And a throw over to first gets Ryan in time for the first out of the inning. Drew Sims, the new hitter. In the 3rd inning, his first at-bat, he struck out. Sims takes that just beautiful slider over the middle of the plate, 0-1.
That has to be one to hit, though. Tyler Ryan came up swinging at the first pitch because most of the first pitches have been strikes. A looping slider right there. Sims should have been over it.
There's another slider. Catches the corner, 0-2. And when you have a pitcher in this type of zone, you're right, Jonathan. You have to jump over the pitches that do catch the heart of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch in the dirt, a changeup at 78 miles an hour, 1-2. And just early impressions of Bibby. You rarely see a guy in the CCL with really great control of 3 different pitches. Bibby has that. Fly ball left field, Davis back a few steps, but not at George Sparky Anderson Field. That was not meant to be. An easy fly out to Davis, and they're 2 away in the inning.
I was going to say, if this was Healdsburg in 110-degree heat, that would be a home run over the left
That's in somebody's front yard.
Oh, absolutely. But George Sparky Anderson Field on a mildly hot day with the wind blowing out to right, routine fly ball 9 times out of 10.
It's up to Tanner Wright to start the 2-out rally. He walked and stole a base in the 3rd. Slider at the knees, 0-1. Tanner Bibby. Boy, does he have a future ahead of him. Slider this time away, 1-1. We've talked extensively about many of the Oaks players currently in the major leagues. Christian Yelich, among others, Ryan Healy. Here's the 1-1 pitch. On the ground to the 2nd baseman. Lafort over to first base in time for the 3rd out of the inning. The Oaks go in order here, 4-0 Foresters. And on the other side of the break, I'll give you some of the Foresters' current Major League Baseball players right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
It's time for our race around the bases.
Top of the 6th inning. Begins with the new hitter, Connor Davis. From the right side of the plate, he's gone 0 for 2. Jackson Simonsgaard surprising both Jonathan and myself back on the hill. here for the 6th inning. And as I promised, I'm going to give you some Foresters currently in Major League Baseball. But first, the inaugural pitch of the 6th inning on its way. Back to the screen, 0-1. Among those many Major League representatives for the Santa Barbara Foresters, none bigger than James Shields, Matt Garza, two very prominent pitchers, Connor Gillespie. He's had some big hits in his career. Next pitch down and inside, bounces in the dirt, 1-1. There's actually only been one All-Star from the Santa Barbara Foresters, and that's Morgan Ensberg. He debuted with the Houston Astros organization, went to school at USC. 1-1 pitch from Simonsgaard. Tap 2 to right field. Way back. Down the line and gone. Wow, what a shot. Down the right field line, and he extends the lead to 5-0 on one of the most majestic and impressive home runs we've seen all year.
Yeah, Connor Davis got all over that one. No doubt about it. Tyler Ryan tried to put some doubt in the fans' minds by making a run for it, but he knew as well as everybody that ball was gone. And it looks like Jackson Simonsgaard's day is over. The Oaks do have Bailey Holbrook out there in the bullpen, but it looks like Joe Torres will be the one coming in.
So, Jackson Simonsgaard, his day ends on a little bit of a sour note. Coach Solis will take the ball from Simonsgaard, and Joe Torres will come in to relieve him. Simonsgaard, I would argue, had a pretty productive day on the hill. We'll give you Simonsgaard's final line and Joe Torres's numbers when we come back here in a 5-0 game from Cal Lutheran on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're back in here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Joe Torres just relieved Jackson Simonsgaard, who went 3 innings, 4 hits, a couple runs, no walks, and also 2 strikeouts. Torres' first pitch against the big Cameron Warren, taken for a ball, 1-0. on the year. Joe Torres has been pretty effective. 3.46 ERA in 13 frames. He's also added 11 strikeouts. 1-0. A bouncer foul, and the count is even at 1-1. And the size difference between Warren and Torres is certainly something of note. Seems as though you could fit about 3 Joe Torreses into Cameron Warren.
I was going to say, Joe Torres, if you size the two up together, good luck.
1 ball, 1 strike. Torres gets his sign of breath and the pitch. Slider knocked foul towards the Foresters' bullpen. Lands out of play, 2-1.
The Foresters need to be careful out there because they're really clogging up that farthest part of play. And that's normally, I wouldn't say that ball's catchable. That's a place where the Oaks like to run out there and catch some balls. And a lot of pitchers in the way. A couple of the Oaks were not happy with it, yelling at the Foresters to get their pitchers out of that area. But that's part of the bullpen, so they're allowed to be there.
1-2. Torres, the pitch. Jammed him. Bouncing ball to right, charges. Underhand throw over to first base. Warren was not running as hard as he can. I guess you don't have to when you're up 5-0. Anyway, the first out of the 6th inning is recorded.
At the same time, I think that Tanner Wright could have charged that a little bit harder, too. So, lackluster base running, a little bit lackluster defense, and it balances each other out at the end of the day.
New hitter, Utah Jones, 0 for 2. Strikeout and a flyout to left field. Torres' first pitch to him. Jones checked his swing, and he held up. It's 1-0. Some other players for the Foresters. Ryan Church, Kevin Franzen. Both guys have some big moments in their careers for sure. Tap foul towards the Foresters' dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. It was a highly anticipated contest, and I don't want to say it hasn't lived up to the hype yet because we all know that the Oaks, well, they wake up later in ball games, at least offensively. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Torres, the pitch. Change up. He hung it. High drive to center field. Elijah Alexander, no problem. Makes the catch for the second out of the frame.
Elijah Alexander makes everything look so easy out there in center, Jordan. I mean, if you're a pitcher, I mean, that was well hit out there to right center for all intents and purposes. And sometimes those balls get down, but when you're Elijah Alexander covering the distance that he can cover and the amount of time that he does it, good luck as a fly ball hitter out to right center or left center because more often than not, Elijah Alexander will be there to greet the ball with an out.
It's a pleasure watching him play that position on a daily basis. It really is. And the Foresters website has an interesting feature where they actually tell you which former Foresters appeared in the World Series. First pitch runs inside, 1-0. And 4 Foresters, or former Foresters, are lucky enough to make that list. Actually, 5 Foresters are lucky enough to make that list. Morgan Ensberg, who we talked about. Ryan Spielborgs, who debuted for the Rockies, and went to UC Santa Barbara, also on that list. Chad Quayles, debuted with the Marlins, another one of those players. Push to right field, Tyler Ryan comes in, makes the grab to end the frame. So Joe Torres, after relieving Jackson Simonsgard, who gave up a leadoff home run, gets 3 consecutive outs to end the half inning. A run on a hit, no errors, nobody left aboard. The Oaks another chance to do some damage in the bottom of the 6th inning here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Michael Spears to lead off for the Oaks here in the bottom of the 6th frame. Spears led off the game in a good way. A base hit on the infield towards the shortstop, was later thrown out trying to steal third base. And then his next at-bat, he struck out. We have a new pitcher on the mound. It's Gavin Velasquez. His first pitch fouled back. Right behind us, out of play. It's 0-1. Final line for Bibby. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no earned. 1 walk. And how about this, Jonathan? 8 strikeouts. Gavin Velasquez, well, not much of a downgrade. As the 0-1 pitch, down and away. It's 1-1. Not a downgrade at all, actually. 5 innings pitched, a 1.50 ERA, 4 strikeouts as well.
And they trade one Fullerton product for another.
1-1. Just scrapes the outside corner. Nothing you can do with that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And at Fullerton, this past year in 19 1/3 innings, he had a 2.33 ERA. Next pitch just barely misses. And the count even at 2. More action in the Oaks bullpen. 2-2. Good take from Spears, and the count is full.
The Oaks need to find ways to get on base. If they're not hitting right now, what do? Manufacture base runners is, by the way, the Oaks have Daniel Tobias warming up in their pen, but manufacture base runners another way. Take pitches.
Full count pitch. Outside corner, called strike 3. Not what Spears wanted there. The 9th strikeout on the ball game for the Conejo Oaks. The first of the day for Velasquez. And Brandon Lewis now up to bat with an out in the inning.
Wow, what a pitch. That outside corner has been consistently called all day long, and Spears telling Jordan McFarland, who's waiting on deck, to swing the bat at those pitches because if you take one, it's going to be called strike 3, at least in that situation.
Lewis checks his swing, won't matter. That's a big off-speed pitch that drops in for a strike. 0-1. The Oaks have been blanked offensively, and this is a team that hasn't been blanked offensively, and I can't even remember how long.
How about 2 weeks to the day against the Ventura County Bucks? But if you're talking about blanked offensively in the CCL season, that is yet to happen. This team has put up at least 1 run in all of their CCL games.
1-1 to Lewis. Spiked down and away in the dirt. And Lewis is now ahead 2-1.
And Jordan, you were talking about some of the players in the MLB by way of the Santa Barbara Forester baseball team, and I have one to watch. You were talking about guys who are currently or have been in Major League Baseball, have reached the majors through the minors.
1-1 outside, 2-1. 3-1, excuse me.
Yeah, the board missed a strike, but I want everybody to put this guy on their radar. Kyle Isbell. He was drafted from UNLV this past season. He was on the Foresters for 2 seasons, and he has been unbelievable. I'll give you his numbers here in just a moment.
3-1 pitch, bouncer, foul. Down the third base line, the count is full.
Kyle Isbell was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year and then the Mountain West Player of the Year last year. And in the Rookie League for the Pioneer League at Idaho Falls, which is the Royals organization, he was drafted in the 6th round. In 92 plate appearances, he's batting .341.
Full count pitched, punished down the left field line, down for it. Lewis around first, hustling for second base. The throw in, it's close, but not close enough. Lewis leads off. Actually, does not lead off, but with 1 out in the inning, a double down the left field line, and the Oaks in business here.
Big hit. The Oaks need to jumpstart their offense. Brandon Lewis is the guy to do it. Leads the team in doubles, and you see why right there. He finds ways to toe that line, that left field line, and spear that ball into no man's land. There was no chance for Davis to even get it on the hop, and right now with a runner on second, only the second runner in scoring position for the Oaks all day long, they have to find a way to push him across to stay in this game.
Jordan McFarland has struck out twice today. He's going to try and, well, do something different here. Takes the first pitch off speed in the dirt. Want to know. I have to give a quick apology to our fans. I did promise multiple stories about rivalries across sports, but the action has been a little bit too riveting. I can't get to my next one. 1-0 pitch comes in away. It's 2-0. I was going to talk about some great stories from the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, but save that for another day. Maybe when we're up in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, next Saturday. I think this game, though, right now, Jordan, is just too good not to focus on.
I 100% agree. 2-0 to McFarland, outside corner. 2-1. I was about to say that's outside for a ball.
Yeah, that looked like the same ball that was called to Brandon Lewis on a pitch that he took up and away, but umpire maybe saw a little bit of a different spot over the plate and called it a strike.
2-1 to McFarland. Outside corner again. McFarland shakes his head, walks back to his dugout, grabs some dirt, regathers himself.
That outside corner has been deadly here for the Oaks, and it's been a very smart play by Velasquez to keep painting it. He's controlling his pitches so well.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, McFarland lunges and gets a piece of that one, fouls it out of play. Count still even at 2.
And that was a fastball in the outside corner for a third consecutive time. McFarland maybe was looking for something different, but at the last moment able to find the ball with the end of his barrel and fight it off for another pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Velasquez's pitch, shot into right field. Oh, a running catch by Luke Ritter in right field. And Brandon Lewis has to retreat back to second base. That was an A+ swing for Jordan McFarland, but a failing result.
Maybe an A swing from Jordan McFarland, an A+ catch by Luke Ritter out there and right. He got an incredible jump, and the Oaks dugout actually stood up and yelled, "That a boy," but I don't think they realized that Luke Ritter possessed the speed and the versatility to catch up to that one. That is something that you don't see oftentimes here in the CCL. Stellar defense out there and right.
So Chase Cockrell, the new hitter. Off speed on the outside corner. Cockrell disagrees with it, just like many Oaks players have. And also the Forsters have not liked that outside corner, but you know what? It's been consistent. These players have to adjust. No balls, a strike. Lewis on second. Ritter checks the run. Velasquez checks the runner. 88 right by Cockrell. No balls, 2 strikes.
I think the words that Cockrell shared with our home plate umpire after that called strike 1 were the most words he said all season. A man of few words for sure is Chase Cockrell.
0-2 to Cockrell. 2 outs in the inning. Still 5-0 in favor of the Foresters. The pitch, Cockrell lays off the curveball in the dirt, 1-2. Elijah Alexander on deck if the inning gets there. The Oaks certainly hope it does. The 1-2 throw. Ground ball hit hard to the shortstop. Weird hop, but a nice play by Zaragoza. Throws off the bag, but Warren goes to the ball and tags Cockrell out to end the threat. The Oaks get the Lewis double, but they strand him. No runs, a hit, no errors, a runner left aboard. 6 full innings have come and gone. It's all Foresters here in Thousand Oaks. 5-0 in favor of Santa Barbara. We'll be right back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We are back for the top of the 7th inning. We've been having some technical difficulties between innings, and I'll let Jonathan Rifkin take over on play-by-play for the 7th, 8th, and 9th frames, and he'll get more into that and the ball game.
Thank you, Jordan. Wonderful job as always. The broadcast is not having technical difficulties, I'm happy to say. It's actually our PA booth downstairs as the first pitch is fouled off to Ryan Cash for strike one. Joe Torres back on the mound for his second inning of work. But, yeah, our Ramsey, our PA man downstairs, has been very good. But our PA system here at Cal Lutheran seemed to have, I'm not exactly sure. It sounds like it's hacking a loogie, if you will, the way that it's screeching, and everybody had to put in their earplugs for a couple of minutes. The 0-1 pitch misses inside, evens the count here to Cash. But
it sounds like me trying to run on the treadmill for more than 5 minutes.
That's what you sound like. I need to stay far away from you when we're working out.
Well, good thing it doesn't happen too often.
Ryan Cash today is 1 for 2, a strikeout and a single. Like I said, I'm happy to say that we don't have any technical difficulties, at least thus far in our broadcast. And no matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate all of our viewers, whether friend or foe to the Oaks. We appreciate you making us a part of your day, as that is a swing and a miss for strike two. Hope you're enjoying your Tuesday evening. It's been a good game, 5-0 the score. Ryan Cash, Logan Allen, and Hank Lafort, the three due up. Joe Torres, the third Oaks pitcher of the ball game, towing the rubber from UC Davis. He played 2 years at Glendale Community College. Deals the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Cash takes swings at a fastball up and away, but he misses it. And Torres gets his first strikeout tally of the ball game. 1 out now here in the top of the 7th. Torres in his third season with the Oaks had a sub-3 ERA last season, and his best appearances came against the Foresters. Back to the top of the order to Logan Allen. First pitch, two-hopper over to short, shaken, underhanded, and then actually regathered himself, but the throw was not in time, and that was the mistake that he made. Instead of bringing his glove up to field that ball, he had to adjust, and that took him half a second longer. And Logan Allen showed off the wheels, beating it out for an infield single, and now he's 2 for 4.
Yeah, that was an in-between hop for Shaken. He just couldn't make the right route to that baseball. He should have maybe waited for it to bounce one more time so he could have gotten a little bit more on that throw. And that's why Allen is on first base.
I bring up Hank Lafort. He's 2 for 3 today with an RBI, pair of singles, and a run scored. He has flown out to center in between those two hits. Torres offers the first pitch of the southpaw, cracked to first. McFarland over to short, shaken for one. The relay to first is not in time. It goes through and into the dugout of the Foresters. That's an error and an advancement. So the 3-6 putout lets Hank Lafort reach on the fielder's choice and advance to second on the E6. That's the 4th on the season by Shaken. And now we have a runner on second with 2 outs for the Foresters.
Two outs in the inning for the Oaks. Got to get through this one.
8 runs, 9 hits, or excuse me, wow. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Foresters. No runs on 4 hits, though it should be 5. They're missing one up on the board and an error for the Oaks. Torres now facing off against Luke Ritter. He's 1 for 3, and that one, perhaps the most important hit of the ballgame, was a 3-run homer with nobody away back in the first inning. But first, a conversation between Sims and Torres. You talk about size difference. Sims at 6'4", Torres at 5'8".
Both play hard. That's all that matters, Jonathan.
Oh, no, I am not
and we know
judging their height. Their height is not a testament to their performing ability. I just think it's kind of funny.
Us broadcasters know size doesn't matter. Better than anybody.
There's a reason we're in the booth and not on the field. Dancing on second base is Lafort. Torres steps off and looks him back. Jordan, you've been talking a lot about the Foresters and some of their big names in the league. And
how could you not? They're such a historic organization.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm very happy that you did, as a beautiful pitch is in there for strike one at the knees. But the Oaks have a big name themselves. Obviously, Ryan Healy and Scott Heineman and Christian Yelich, the big names. Christian Yelich just being named an all-star starter for the NL All-Stars. But they have an up-and-coming guy in Chad Spanberger. And if you've been with this team for the last 2+ years, as Torres almost balked right there but saved himself, Chad Spanberger led the CCL in home runs from Arkansas. He had 16. Led the CCL in batting average, 364, when he was on the Oaks 2 years ago, and absolutely broke out for the Arkansas Razorbacks. He was a 6th-round draft pick last year. Runner goes 0-1 pitch, cracked up the middle into center field. Rounding third, coming home is LaForte, and that is an RBI single. A scorcher up the middle by Luke Ritter. He has 4 on the ball game now, and it's 6-0 Foresters.
I have not seen as many hidden runs in one game as I have right here in this game. Talking about trust between the head coach and your lineup. I mean, the ability to run a hit and run in any count in any situation is really impressive, and it just goes to show you that the Foresters love to make contact, and they do consistently.
Chase Illig steps in and fouls off the first pitch for strike one. He's 0 for 3, a pop-out, a fly-out, and a strikeout to his day. But going back to Chad Spanberger, he's actually chasing a triple crown right now for the Asheville Tourists in Class A baseball. He's in a top 10 prospect for the Rockies organization, a phenomenal young player. And if you look at how he plays, he wants to be up in Colorado to hit some bombs. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2 to Illig. But Spanberger not only is chasing a triple crown, but he's leading Class A ball, or single A ball, if you will, high A ball, many names to it, in home runs, batting average, and on-pace percentage, as well as slugging percentage. First a pickoff attempt, nothing doing, though it almost looked like Ritter's hand was off the bag on the tag, but umpire was right there and called him safe. But Chad Spanberger will look to get caught up. There's a projection that he'll get caught up to Double-A by the end of the month. And if he continues playing the way he plays, he could hit spring training on the official roster. 0-2 pitch, sky to left field into foul territory, and it drops into the Oaks bullpen. David Tobias out there tried to make a catch on it, but instead takes his safety over the catch, and I think that's very wise, especially as a player who is likely going to come into this ballgame very soon. Going back to Spanberger, the Rockies drafted him 6 overall, and you know what's funny is that Brett Boswell, a third baseman from Texas, was drafted 2 picks before him by the Rockies from the Foresters. So you talk about 2 guys who are top 10 prospects in the Rockies organization from opposing teams in the CCL. 0-2 pitch, goes inside, runs away from Sims. Actually hit him. Yeah. No, that hit his foot. You're absolutely right. Chase Illig on an 0-2 count. Torres gives him a little love tap on the foot, and he takes first base on the hit by a pitch, our first of the day. Advances Ritter over to second. But keep an eye on some of these guys. Brett Boswell and the Rockies organization from the Foresters, like I mentioned earlier. Kyle Isbell on the Kansas City organization from the Foresters, and Chad Spanberger. Of course, the Oaks have had a couple of other phenomenal young talents. Jacob Sylvester and Ty Harper now, as well as Corey Poole, are playing in the minors right now from the last 2 years in the Oaks organization. Jack Kruger, of course, 3 years ago was drafted by the Angels. He just announced his retirement, though. Nonetheless, both these teams very well represented, perhaps the most of any team right now in the minors from the CCL. First pitch inside, ball 1 to Connor Davis. He had a home run back in the 6th inning. 0 for 2 before that, a flyout and a lineout. But you look at the Foresters, and this Forester team, good luck. They are going to have, from top to bottom, everybody's going to get looks. And most of them have been or will be drafted. 1-0 pitch, jammed him, but it's fouled off to even the count. CCL standings have the Foresters in front. Healdsburg and the Orange County Riptide are tied for second. The Oaks are half a game back for third. But technically they're in the 4th spot because Healdsburg and Orange County are ahead of them. The Oaks do have a game pending against the Riptide. That'll be played out on Sunday. So the Oaks could have a 3-game swing against the Riptide on Saturday and Sunday as a curveball, as Torres falling off the mound and low, 2-1 the count. This is a big week in the CCL. Every team is still in contention. The Oaks are 3 games up over the Blues for the 4th and final spot, 4 games up over the Saints, and 4 games up over the Catch. The Barons have taken a 5.5 game drop. They're in the bottom spot now after dropping 2 on the doubleheader to the Oaks on Sunday. Torres checks the runner, offers the 2-1. Cutter fouled back to even the count. Well, the Oaks play the Saints tomorrow in a big game. If the Oaks drop today, they'll be a full game back. They'll still be in 4th place, but it's a lot easier to be in a playoff spot in the 2 or 3 spot because you avoid playing the Foresters. If you're a 4 seed and the Foresters, which I believe they will maintain that 1 seed throughout the rest of the season, you do not want to play them until the championship game.
Yeah, that race for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seed will be about as dramatic as you can get.
2-2 pitch, cracked up the middle, into center field once again. Rounding third, being waved on home is Ritter. The throw from Alexander is cut off by Jordan McFarland. It gets past his glove, but Sim slides it to a stop. Nonetheless, an RBI single here from Connor Davis. He has 2 RBIs on the day, and the Foresters taking a comfortable 7-0 lead. They have 11 hits now here in the 7th inning. Over to second base, Chase Illig, standing on first base, Connor Davis. And it looks like Torres will probably go one more batter. I saw Solis make a look to the bullpen. David Tobias is really warming up now. Cameron Warren digging in here from Texas Tech. Takes a pitch low for ball 1. 0 for 3 today. A fly out, a pop out, and a ground out to his day. 7 runs, 11 hits for the Foresters. No runs on 5 hits and an error for the Oaks. They have stranded 2 runners in scoring position today. Have not had many opportunities to score. 1-0 pitch misses low and inside. 2-0 the count. But yeah, the race is always a big deal. The Oaks have locked in the 4th and final playoff spot over the last 2 seasons. Both seasons, by way of the last game of the season, both have been up in San Luis Obispo. Both have been Oaks wins, and both allowed them to punch their ticket to the CCL playoffs. This season, they don't end against the Blues. They actually end against the Packers as a 2-0 pitch comes way up into the head. Warren running away from it. 3-0 the count.
Talk about drama to end your CCL season up in San Luis Obispo.
And here's Jordan. You weren't even with the team, so even for you, this sounds pretty crazy. So 2 years ago, the Oaks were a half a game back from San Luis Obispo, which is weird because you're supposed to play an even number of CCL games, but they didn't. The Blues played one more game. The Oaks were half a game back in that day, and if the Oaks won and the Healdsburg Prune Packers lost to the Neptune Beach Pearl as the sliders in there for strike 1, 3-1 the count. If the Oaks beat the Blues and the Packers lost to the Neptune Beach Pearl, then the Oaks would have gone to the CCL playoffs. If any other result happened, the Oaks were knocked out, and that's exactly what happened. The Oaks won by 2 on a walk-off that allowed them, and the Packers lost to Neptune Beach Pearl, of course, to allow the Oaks to get to the finals. They lost in the championship 3-1, turned into 3-2 on a foul ball. And last season, the Oaks were a game back of San Luis Obispo, but the Oaks had the tiebreaker. So if the Oaks, the final game of the season, beat San Luis Obispo, of course the Foresters negated their playoff run because they went to Wichita early. If the Oaks beat the Blues because of the tiebreakers, the Oaks would have made the playoffs, and the Oaks beat the Blues 6-4 in the final game last season to go to the playoffs. So crazy things have happened in the last 2 years to allow the Oaks to go to the playoffs. Right now on a 10-game winning streak, though, that is in jeopardy right now. The team is playing like a playoff team, and I would expect them to be in the playoffs. Of course, the Oaks hosting the playoffs. Payoff pitch. Misses inside. Ball 4. Warren walks. The first walk drawn on the ball game by the Foresters. However, they have been hit by a pitch earlier in the inning. Chase Illig, who's standing on third base now, is there. Connor Davis to second. It's Cameron Warren to first. As Solis is going to relieve Joe Torres of his duties. David Tobias out of Pierce College is going to come in. But the Oaks are hosting the playoffs no matter what. Excuse me, it's Daniel Tobias, not David Tobias, my mistake. The Oaks are hosting the playoffs here, and Jordan Brenner and I will be on the call for all 3 playoff games, 2 on July 28th and the championship game on July 29th. That'll be right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network, no matter who's in it. And we're excited to bring it to you. But for now, no, Joe Torres is going to stay out there. Daniel Tobias is standing out in the dugout waiting for the call, and he's actually going to jog back now to the bullpen. That was an interesting situation because Solis gave the look to the bullpen. But Joe Torres must have said something to his coach, maybe along the lines of, this is why I'm developing. This is how I learn, by getting out of base-loaded jams.
I love that intensity on the mound. I just love it.
Bases all juiced. The lefty, Utah Jones, stepping in. He's 0 for 3 today and takes a strike on the outside corner. The fastest two-seamer by Joe Torres today on the outside corner. Torres toes the rubber, taking his time. Rocks and fires the 0-1. Cracked over to third on the second hop. Lewis tags third base. And finally, the top of the 7th is over. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. The base is left loaded. It's time to stretch. Top of the 7th is over. 7-0 to score. Get up, take a big stretch. The Oaks have a 7-0 lead to come back from. The Foresters look to continue to keep on doing what they're doing. It looks like we'll see a new pitcher here as Bill Pintard comes out to the umpire. But we'll let you know everything that goes on in between innings after this on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here on the campus of California Lutheran University, home of the Kingsmen and the Regals. Right now, though, it's up to the Conejo Oaks, and they are taking a beating at home. The Foresters have come in and absolutely deforested the Conejo Oaks. 7-0 the score here in the bottom of the 7th. Welcome back, everybody. Leading off is Elijah Alexander, and takes a pitch low and outside for ball one. Or, excuse me, high and outside for ball one. On the day for Elijah Alexander, he's perhaps been the most productive Oak, and that's not saying too much. He has a single. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Maybe Brandon Lewis's double as he whips one into right field, and that one drops. Brandon Lewis's double, perhaps before that, was the most productive hit. But right there, Elijah Alexander gets things rolling here for the Oaks. They get a leadoff runner on for the first time since the first inning. And it's a big one. 7-0 to score. The Oaks need to muster up the power, the resilience that they have built up over this 10-game winning streak and fight to come back here down 8-0. 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for them. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Foresters. Alexander does have the fastest speed, at least from home, the first clocked in the CCL. Just under 4 is the first pitch to Shaken, is in there for strike 1. So by property, he's really fast on the base paths too, and we'll see if they send him here. Takes a big 2.5-step lead off of first base. Velasquez back on the mound, toes the rubber and checks him. Fullerton Titan slowly but surely deals the 0-1. A curveball high to left field. Davis, though, has some room going back, and he makes the catch. Alexander was at second base and has to go all the way back to first base. That would have been a tag otherwise. 1 out, runner on first.
Great swing from Sam Shaken. I don't care about the result. In a 7-0 game, you're most likely not going to come back. So I think it's okay to take wins where you can get them. So good for Shake to put a nice swing on that baseball.
Wind has died down more or less here. The flag's still blowing, though, not as steadily as before. Tyler Ryan stepping in 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out to his day, but first a pickoff attempt. Alexander back in there. By the way, folks, the Conejo Oaks are hosting a raffle, courtesy of the Amateur Baseball Development Group, the ownership of the Conejo Oaks. Of course, Mike Sosha and our wonderful GM, Randy Riley, doing a great job putting this team together and making sure that we have a team here in Thousand Oaks. Swing and a miss for Ryan, puts 0-1 up on the board. But in this raffle, Mike Trout autographed bat, Mike Trout autographed baseball, Albert Pujols autographed baseball, Mike Sosha autographed baseball, Conejo Oaks merchandise, and 2 $25 gift cards are being raffled off. $5 per ticket, $20 for 5 tickets. Winner not need to be present. Email us at info@ConejoOaksBaseball.org as the runner goes. Pitches a strike. The throw is in plenty of time, and Alexander is absolutely torched out there at second. It looked to LaForte. Not even a chance. Out number 2 now up on the board, and 0-2 the count to Tyler Ryan.
There's not a doubt in my mind that that was the best throw we've seen from a catcher all season long. Chase Illig from his knees throwing out Alexander at second base. Ridiculous.
Once again, the raffle, if you want to participate, we can reserve tickets for you. If you have a child on the team, we can Ryan pops it up into the infield. This should be out number 3. Shortstop Zarazoga gets under and makes the catch. I'm going to finish up this. I'm going to solicit you all here for one more second. Email us at info@oaksbaseball.org. Today, we are not going to do a free raffle ticket. We did it on Sunday, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I'm going to ask all of our viewers a trivia question. If you get it right, I will be giving you a free raffle ticket for your chance to win one of these amazing prizes. Nonetheless, though, the Oaks do get Elijah Alexander on. He was caught stealing a flyout and a pop-out. For the rest of the 7th, we're through 7 full. The Oaks trailing 7-0. The Forest is looking to tack on some more when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Top of the 8th inning. We're happy to bring it live from Sparky Anderson Field. He's Jordan Brenner. My name is Jonathan Rifkin. Delighted to be with you on a beautiful, absolutely stunning evening from Thousand Oaks, California. The outfield is painted in gold with the setting sun. The shadows are getting longer, and the Foresters continue to do what they do best in scoring runs and shutting down the opposition. They're up 7-0 right now. And Daniel Tobias out of Pierce Junior College is the new pitcher. Joe Torres' day is done. 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. A walk and a strikeout to his day. Tobias deals the first pitch a strike at the knees to Zarazoga, who's 2 for 3 today. In the 8th spot, he has 2 singles, a run scored, and a flyout. On the season for Daniel Tobias, he joined the team a couple weeks ago. This is his 4th appearance. He has a 0 ERA and 2 1/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. That pitch misses, evens the count here to Zarazoga. The Oklahoma Sooner, followed by his rival during the regular season, but teammate Ryan Cash, who goes to Oklahoma State. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tobias offers. Called a strike at the belt. Zaragoza stepping back in here in a big spot. Not really for the game itself, but just for him. He has struggled as of late, but coming into this game, batting .264, that'll go up. He's 2 for 3 right now, trying to continue that, but he pops this one up. In foul territory, McFarland calls for it out of first base, and he makes the catch out number 1 up on the board. McFarland has been very good out there at first base. Of course, the Oaks had Bart West, the usual first baseman over there. Sometimes Brandon Lewis played first base. Tyler Ryan got some stints. But since McFarland's joined the team, he's really been a great first baseman for this team. We have a pinch hitter now for the Foresters. Bill Pintardo is going to pull Ryan Cash, and it's Turner Grant.
Turner Gaunt.
Oh, Gaunt. Excuse me. Thank you for that correction, Jordan. So he takes a pitch for strike 1. Cash went 1 for 3 today, a pair of strikeouts and a single. Gaunt does not have any stats up on the website, but I'm sure he's played before as that one has popped up into foul territory. McFarland, for the second straight time, makes a catch That's out number 2. McFarland getting some work out there at first base as he puts away the first 2 batters of the inning. Feel free to tweet at us at Caneo_Oaks. He's at Jordan Brenner 31. I'm at Johnny Riff. Or chat with us in the YouTube live chat, no matter who you are or where you're watching. Friend or foe, we always love to hear what our viewers have to say. Order turns over now for Logan Allen as he takes a ball upstairs. 2 for 4 today, a pair of singles. In between those, though, 2 pop-outs. Also has a run scored, the first one of the ball game by way of that big 3-run homer by Luke Ritter. Tobias deals the 1-0. Popped back out of play to even the count. The schedule changed a little bit for the Oaks. Originally, at the end of the week, they were supposed to play the Neptune Beach Pearl, but the Pearl dropped the league 2 weeks before the season started. Solis and company have been trying to push for a game against the Northridge Bulls in an interleague matchup as that pitch misses upstairs, 2-1 the count. But the Bulls today just called and told us that they no longer can play that game that was scheduled for either Thursday or Friday. And so the Oaks have 2 days off, but still a game tomorrow against the Arroyo Seco Saints at 5 o'clock West Coast time. 4:45 is when we'll be live. 2-1 offering. Sky to right field. Ryan takes 2 steps back and 1 to his left and makes the catch for out number 3. Tobias comes in and does what he needs to do. 1-2-3 inning, 2 pop-outs and a flyout. Top of the 8th is over. The Oaks have Sims, Wright, and Spears, assuming the lineup stays the same, coming up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. You won't want to go anywhere. Foresters up 7-0 right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Leading off the inning for the Oaks, catcher number 6.
New pitcher on the mound with some fielding changes. Elliot Anderson takes place of Velasquez. 2 innings drawn, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, and a strikeout. 8, 9, and 1 hitters do it for the Oaks. The first of those is Drew Sims. He's 0 for 2 today. A strikeout and a flyout. Takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. Out in center field is Cameron Fields from Texas. Moving from right to left is Luke Ritter, and from left to right, or excuse me, from center to right, Logan Allen. Those are the only changes in the field for the Foresters. 1-0 offering. Slapped back. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Drew Sims. Quiet day here at the ballpark. Fans filled in nicely, but the Oaks fans haven't had a lot to cheer about. For good reason, that one misses low. 2-1 the count. Elliot Anderson on the season, 8 2/3 innings pitched to a 0 ERA. 9 strikeouts. That one lined right into Zaragoza's glove at short. Out number 1 is up on the board. Talking about a guy who's pitched almost 9 innings and hasn't given up a run The Foresters are really pulling out all the stops now to make sure this Oaks offense is stifled. And Tanner Wright's day is done, by the way. It looks like Will Pickett's from Cal State Bakersfield will step in. The Oaks need to find a way to generate base runners, and this is the guy to do it. He may not be batting that well this season at a 178 mark, but he finds ways to get on base. His on-base percentage at 328, which is actually very, very good. Gets hit by pitches or walks. Obviously, you don't want to get hit by pitches, but Pickett's better than anybody at that. Takes a strike over the heart of the plate. 0-1 the count to him. Wright's day is done. He went 0 for 1, walked, stole second, and then grounded out in the fifth. The Oaks are in danger of being shut out for the first time of the CCL season and first time in the last 2 weeks. 0-1 pitch, a strike. No, called a ball. That pitch has been consistently a strike all game long on the outside corner, but our umpire today was not having it. One's across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 away. Want to give a couple of shout-outs. Shout out, of course, to the Francis family. Jeffrey Francis is actually in attendance today. Wow, Will Pickett finds a gap out there in left field and gets a 1-out base knock for the Oaks. Well done for Will Pickett. It's a pinch hit runner, I should say, on base. And I'm not exactly sure if anybody expected it, but you know what? That's why they bring him out there. And he found a strike and found a way on base.
Will Pickett has looked much more composed at the plate the past week or so, and it showed right there.
Now Bailey Holbrook stepping in, played 2 years at Union College.
Bomb Holbrook.
3 hits on the season. I don't think he's very happy with his batting average at a .097, but he's working hard, and I'm sure it'll start paying dividends. First pitch to him is low for ball 1. He comes in for Michael Spears, who went 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a single. By the way, another shout to Vern Merrill, our phenomenal former Oaks GM, watching from the beaches of Hawaii. Always love to hear from Vern. 1-0 pitch. Skied high to right field, though Allen has plenty of room just short of the warning track to make the catch. Holbrook is retired for out number 2. But Holbrook told me before the game that he's been looking into transferring to various schools in California. I'm not going to say where yet because I think it's best that be kept on the DL because everybody wants Bailey Holbrook. If one coach finds out another team is trying to get him, maybe they'll want him. So for the sanctity of his scholarship, I'm going to keep it under wraps for right now. But very soon you'll be hearing about his signing, and it's going to be very exciting. Brandon Lewis stepping in, 2 for 3. Rocks one high and deep to left field. No doubt about this one. That is a bomb. His 6th of the season. His 4th in the last 4 days. And the Oaks are finally on the board at 7-2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Brandon bombs Lewis. Sorry, Bailey Holbrook. Brandon Lewis just took your nickname because that was a shot out to left field. A no doubter.
Wow. Over to the left field wall, too. That's not something you see very often here at Sparky Anderson. And Brandon Lewis has been phenomenal. He's 3 for 4 today, and he's trying to keep this Oaks team in it. 5 runs now with 4 outs on the offensive side to go. It's doable, but with the way the Foresters are playing, it's quite an uphill climb. Jordan McFarland steps in and takes a low pitch for ball 1. That was the first home run given up by Elliot Anderson on top of the first runs he's given up on the season. And Lewis showing off the star power he has. McFarland slices one in the right center field, and a beautiful catch by Cameron Fields absolutely robs him of an extra base hit. I thought he was going to lay one out, but Fields showing off the wheels out there, runs the route well, and retires this side. The Oaks strike for 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Brandon Lewis. They pick up 2 hits, no errors, and they leave nobody on base. 8 have come and gone here, and it's time for the 9th inning. It's going to be a fun one. The Oaks will try to stifle this Forester lineup and give their offense one more opportunity to make up the difference on the other side of the break right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're in very familiar territory. Back on June 19th when these two teams played, the Oaks were trailing 6-2 in the 9th inning. Now they're trailing 7-2. And Hank Lafort, who was not in that game, steps in. And you know what? I think that the tides have turned a little bit because Lafort is an absolute game changer for the Foresters, even though they have from top to bottom those types of players. And Lafort's going to do everything in his power to try and extend this lead or at least keep the momentum in the Foresters' favor. He steps in. The first pitch from John Vergara, the new pitcher, fouled back for strike one. Lafort on the day is 2 for 4. He reached on a fielder's choice in advance on an error back in the 7th. RBI single in the 5th and a single and scored a run in the 1st. Daniel Tobias went 1 inning. No runs, no strikeouts, no walks, as well as no hits. John Vergara from Glendale City College. Lefty on lefty matchup offers the 0-1. Bunt shown. Pulled back. Pitches low for ball 1. On the season for Vergara, this is his 12th appearance. He has a 1-1 record, but he's 2 for 2 in saves, a 3.95 ERA. 13 2/3 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts, and 8 walks. 1-1 pitch, slapped up the middle, but right into Alexander's glove for out number 1. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Foresters. They've been held hitless in 3 innings so far today. The 3rd, the 4th, and the 8th. But in the other innings where they've been able to hit, they've scored runs as well. As Michael Newsifter from Oklahoma State comes in here in place of Luke Ritter. Ritter's day is done. 2 for 4, 4 RBIs, a 3-run homer, a single, 2 runs scored, a strikeout and a flyout to his day. Saw Newsifter in the game earlier on the season batting .314. 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. First pitch, right there up in the board for strike 1. But Brandon Lewis back in the half inning. The bottom of the 8th had that big 2-out bomb over to left, and that gave the Oaks some life. 0-1 offering, swing and a miss, strike 2. So we'll see how that momentum carries over. We've seen crazier things happen. The Oaks were trailing 6-2. They put up 3 big runs and had the 4th run 90 feet away back on June 19th against this team. It's not undoable, but it'll be very hard. 0-2 offering. Skied, but out of play. Vergara has been very good, especially against righties, if you believe it or not. He knows how to place his curveball well in the outside corner. He can throw a fastball low and in, jams batters, keeps them off balance, and he will miss time again, but overall, he's very reliable out in the back of the bullpen. 0-2 pitch, bounces in the dirt, ball 1.
I didn't even read it. I didn't read that one. Were you up here doing that? Yeah, I was gonna.
Foresters struck first, 3 runs in the 1st. Run in the 5th, run in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. The Oaks finally got on the board back in the bottom of the 8th, courtesy of Brandon Lewis. Now trying to stifle this ecstatic offense. 1-2 pitch, popped up. Left center field. More center, though, as Elijah Alexander once again makes the catch for out number 2. 2 flyouts to center. Puts 2 outs up on the board here in the top of the 9th as the sun really is almost over that mountain now. The entire infield covered in a shadow. Chase Illig will step in. Nonetheless, he's 0 for 3, but he was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. Stranded on 3rd thereafter when the bases were left loaded by the Foresters.
What does this guy do with his brother here? Does he play more or does he pitch more? Who's that?
Lefty on righty battle here. Vergara toes the rubber and offers the first pitch. Foul tipped off the glove of Sims for strike 1. The Oaks will be back home tomorrow. Face the Arroyo Seco Saints at 4:30. Actually, 5 o'clock. There's Cal Lutheran camp this week, so all games that were scheduled for 4:30 have been pushed to 5. Then they have a 2-game hiatus. Thursday and Friday are off. Team will head to Fullerton on Saturday to play the Riptide. 0-1 pitch. Once again, fouled back. 0-2 the count here to Illig. On Sunday, the Oaks will be back at home at 11 o'clock. They'll be finishing up a game that was postponed due to darkness. It was 8-8 going in the 10th inning against the Riptide, and then a second full game will be played out here at Sparky Anderson at either 12 o'clock or 30 minutes after the first game concludes. 0-1 pitch, skied to left field. Running up on it, though, is Cockrell, and he makes the catch, out number 3. Vergara gets the job done, gets 3 flyouts, 2 to center, 1 to left, and the top of the 9th is over. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. 7-2 remains the score. The Oaks have the middle of the order. Cockrell, Alexander, and Shaken, should everything stay the same, as they try to fight back and climb the hill. It's 7-2, 5 runs to make up. We'll be right back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. New pitcher on the mound, Chase Wallace from the University of Tennessee relieves Elliot Anderson, who went an inning strong, 2 hits, 2 runs, courtesy of Brandon Lewis's home run. No walks and no strikeouts. New pitcher is the closer, Chase Wallace, as I mentioned, from Tennessee. And he'll face Chase Cockrell. First pitch, low for ball 1. Cockrell on the day, 0 for 4, actually 0 for 3. That's coming off an 0 for 5 game in the second game on Sunday. Before that, he hit safely, or at least reached base safely. In every game he played this season for the Oaks, 1-0 pitch, called a strike on the outside corner at 91. On the season for Mr. Wallace, the Tennessee Volunteer, he has 12 and a third inning under his belt, 2.19 ERA, 12 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Quickly deals the 1-1 to Cockrell. Swung on a miss for strike 2. He's working very fast out there, Jordan. It looks like he's trying to retire these Oaks and get out of here.
Long drive back to Santa Barbara.
Oh, with the sun going down right now along the coast, when they take PCH, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. The Oaks have something to say about it. This game will go long enough where that can happen, but called strike 3 on the outside corner instead. Cockrell goes down looking. The second time he's been retired via the strikeout today. Chase Wallace garners his first, and the Oaks have been struck out 12 times now on the game. But Elijah Alexander, who's 2 for 3 today, steps in. So we wind down the day. Hope everybody enjoyed their Tuesday. No matter how you watched or where you watched, we appreciate you making Oaks baseball a part of it. The second of 4 times between these two teams. So that pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Foresters took the first game 6-5. They're looking to take this one here, and then this team will be back to end the season. Their last 2 road games will be in Santa Barbara. That one misses low for ball 2 to Alexander. On July 21st and 22nd, the Oaks will play in Santa Barbara for the final 2 games between these two teams. Wallace comes set and offers the 2-0 to Alexander. Sky to right field, going back to the wall. Allen lets it hit off the wall. That's good for extra bases. Alexander digging for 2. He's standing up. And for the 3rd time today, Elijah Alexander gets on base via a base hit. The Oaks have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. They're really trying to make this game somewhat close, but right now down 7-2 with an out up on the board. It's not likely, but you never know what the Oaks can do, and right now Sam Shaken will look to contend here. The third extra base hit given up on the season by Wallace. Shaken 0 for 3 today. Typically a very reliable bat, and we'll see him fight off a couple here, I'm sure. Wallace offers the first pitch, up and in for ball 1. He does have 7 walks in those 12 in the third, so he is prone to walking batters. The Oaks can stay patient and find a way to get to him. Maybe give their team an opportunity to extend this game as long as possible, and they want that. They don't want to go down quickly, even if they know that they're out of it, which I don't think they do. 1-0 pitch, sky to center field. Fields jogging forward, makes the catch. Out number 2, Alexander retreats back to second. 1 out now. Until this game is in the books, we'll see what happens as Tyler Ryan digs in here, wearing Will Pickett's helmet for the first time today. Maybe a good luck charm for him. And he needs to find a way to recreate some of the magic that he displayed over the weekend when he had 2 home runs and 2 doubles. Today 0 for 3, a strikeout, a ground out, and a pop out to his day. The first pitch, outside ball 1. Ryan thought about going, but wisely held back. Wallace toes the rubber. Calmly deals the 1-0 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 1, 91 on the gun. Beautiful fastball up in the zone. The Oaks trying to stay alive here in the playoff race. If the Saints win tonight and the Oaks lose, they'll only be 2 games up in that 4th and final playoff spot. But tomorrow's game means that much more now. The Foresters have a 2-game home and home against the Riptide coming up. Fastball, a strike on the outside corner, puts Tyler Ryan 1 strike away from this game being over. Everybody quiet. The Oaks dead silent in their dugout. You could hear a pin drop in there. The Foresters the same, though. A little bit more active, I think, in general, just because they do have this 5-run lead. Wallace trying to end the game. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a slider way out of the zone. But on the drop, third strike. Tyler Ryan advances to first. Elijah Alexander advances to third. That is a recorded out. The second strikeout in the inning and the second strikeout on the game for Wallace. But the game continues.
That's one way to get on base, and Tyler Ryan will take it. So will the Oaks.
Wow. Never seen a could-be game ender extend like that. And Drew Sims will look to find a way to keep doing what has been going on here. Elijah Alexander doubled. Tyler Ryan just reached base on a drop third strike. Sims is 0 for 3. Pops that one back for strike 1. He's been getting good hits. He had a really nice fly out to left, and it's hard to say a nice fly out, but the way that he made contact with the ball and how hard it was hit, it looked like it could have exited the ballpark, though. Sparky Anderson, very unforgiving to right-handed batters. Unless your name is Brandon Lewis, of course. Wallace, 0-1. Bounces in the dirt. Great backhand by Illig. Evens the count, 1 ball and a strike.
And Jonathan, we can hear the Santa Barbara Forester bus turning on. It's purring, waiting for those guys to get aboard. The Oaks are going to make them stop for gas, though, with that motor running.
Wallace offers the 1-1. Called a strike on the outside corner. Sims really doesn't like it. And that's been a hard call for the Oaks. Yes, the Foresters have been the beneficiary of the same call, but the Oaks seemingly have gotten a little bit more. But that's the resilience of the Foresters. If you're going to get those calls, why not keep throwing it there? And that's what they've done. 1-2 in. Crack down the third baseline. Hits off the bag and goes foul. We'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Drew Sims. Drew is very good, though, at battling back in counts. He had a home run last week in Fullerton that was on a 1-2 count that broke the game wide open, eventually gave the Oaks the win. He's had a couple of doubles by way of 1-2 counts. But you never want to dig yourself in a hole, and that's what's happened right here. Expect Wallace to go right ahead and maybe throw an outside slider like he did to Ryan. Here we go. First and third, 2 away, 1-2 count. Wallace offers. Cracked foul once again off the right foot of Sims. He shakes it off. And for a third straight time, 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count. Drew Sims, catcher extraordinaire from Utah Valley. Displays a lot of leadership, a lot of fight. Talks about how his dad is his biggest influence. His father played in the Florida Marlins organization for a while. Spring training with Gary Sheffield. 1-2 pitch once again. Swung on and missed. Drop third strike, but this time Illig applies the tag. And this ball game is over. The final score, the Foresters win it 7-2. The losing pitcher for the Caneo Oaks is Jonathan Lavallee. He is now 0-2 on the season. And Tanner Bibby gets his third win of the season by way of his wonderful 5-inning, 3-hits, no runs, and 8 strikeout performance. The final line, 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Foresters. They strand 6 on base. The Oaks get 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. They strand 5 on base. Jordan, this Caneo Oaks team looked a little bit sluggish out there. Lackluster defense. The pitching was somewhat there for the most part, except for that first big inning for the Foresters. I think that for all intents and purposes, the pitching wasn't that bad for how high octane this Forester dugout or this Forester offense is. But overall, the Foresters just outplayed this team. It seemed like they wanted the game more.
Yeah, well, Jonathan, you can have all the juice in the world, okay? But at a certain point, you're going to have to go back to the store and get more. That's what happened to the Oaks. They were a really hot team. They had an off day today. It's unfortunate because it came against their bitter rival and one of the best teams in the country, at least as far as summer collegiate ball goes. They have to regroup, come back tomorrow, get a big win before the 2 days off, and do whatever they can to maintain whatever momentum they have that they've been building over the past 2 weeks.
The 10-game winning streak has concluded. The Oaks now have to start from scratch. The Foresters have won 11 of their last 13, including 11 of their last 12 CCL games. They moved to 25, check that, 26-3 overall, 20-3 in the CCL. The Oaks dropped to 16-11, 10-9 in the CCL. Well, we're going to leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow at 4:45 pregame show, 5 o'clock first pitch, in a very important game now between the Arroyo Seco Saints and the Caneo Oaks. You won't want to miss it. Very big playoff implications on the line. All of that at tomorrow at 4:45 West Coast time. We can't wait to see you there. But until then, for everybody who made our broadcast possible, our wonderful interns down in the press box, and my incredible broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner, my name is Jonathan Rifkin signing off. Once again, the Oaks lose 7-2. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.